Searching fast, that's girl, you bound back that. I know you back that. You like to get to the bag. Yeah. Searching fast, that's girl, you bound back that. I know you back that. You like to get to the bag. Yeah. Searching fast, that's girl, you bound back that. I know you back that. You like to get to the bag. Yeah. Searching fast, that's girl, you bound back that. I know you back that. You like to get to the bag. Yeah. Searching fast, that's girl, you bound back that. I know you back that. You like to get to the bag.
One more time for the one time so y'all can see the correct copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act of 1976. Allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, commentating, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, and research. Yes, I do have one of those videos. Yes, I do. I do have my own little copyright thing, typed up. Hopefully y'all see my background. But hello, beautiful people. How are y'all doing? Hello. Now, y'all might hear some clicking. I had to stop and do a few things, so I'm still trying to make sure I have all my stuff, correctly ready to go for y'all as we talk about this entire situation with Keith Lee and him being down to Atlanta, and the people just are being a little bit upset, honey. Okay, talking about all of that. But before we get into all of that, hi, hello, welcome to the channel. If you're new here, you like the content, please like, comment, subscribe, turn your post notifications on, and share me with your people. If you're not new here and you don't like the content, still like, comment, subscribe, turn your post notifications on, and share me with your people, because you may not like me, but somebody out there does. If you want to follow me on social media, you want to buy any merch. Speaking of merch, is the video? Yes, if you want to buy merch, hold on. If you want to buy merch, there we go. A nice little video. You can buy the merch. It's on the merch store. I'm just showing you a little bit of the prices. I have mugs. I have hoodies. I have sweatshirts. I have stickers. I have accessory pouches. I have masks because, COVID is very much still a thing. I have tank tops. I have hoodies. So if you want to get any of that, go ahead and, take a look at the merch store. You can get an extended look at the merch store in the description box down below. But if you want to see a little few things, okay, you're like, I don't know if I want to see everything right now. You just want to see a few things, then you can find those few on the merch store that is on the channel. Now, if you need a way to contact me for business, you can find that in the description box down below. If you want to donate anything to the channel, then you can find that in the description box down below. It is currently scrolling across the bottom of the screen, and if you that goes directly to me. But if you want to, send something, you could do a super chat, a super thanks, and a super sticker. Now, you don't have to, but if you want to, you can do all of those amazing things. You can. You could do all of those amazing things. Yes, we are live. Hello, First Lady Feisty. We are live. If you want to get anything off of my Amazon storefront, full transparency, I do get a commission off of everything that's on there. But if you want to get anything off of there, if you see something you like or see something you want, and it's going to help, this holiday season, or you just want it, okay, get it. Get it, okay, get it so you can have it. And that is off that Amazon storefront. Now, if you want anything off the wish list, on the wish list is, different things for the channel, games to, expand game night, different equipment to make, things better. So if you want to do that, go ahead and do so. If you want to do that, you could go ahead and do so. Go ahead and get it. Tell me what it's giving. If you want to do those things. So if you want to hit the wish list, you can also do that. And I do, thank everybody for anything they send to me because it's much appreciated, much obliged. You don't have to do it, but if you do it, I appreciate it. Okay, but we're here to talk about Keith Lee. You know, listen, Keith Lee, he seemed like he good people. I don't know that man personally. I don't know him like that. Okay, I just know that I follow him down to the TikTok. He be giving food reviews. I trust the food reviews because the food reviews be reviewing. Okay, he make me wanna, try the food and everything. Whenever I go back to Vegas, I will be trying the food because, well, that's where he lives and that's where most of his food reviews were at first. And he lets you know up front, real quick, like he lets you know, I am not a food critic. My taste buds are different than yours. I'm just telling you, what I think and how I feel about certain things. So, you know, he seems like he's good people. He's very much honest about what he says. He himself feels like he never wants to lie to anyone about food and what the food is giving and what it's hitting on. So I do appreciate that. I do very much appreciate that because it's just like you got a person who not gonna lie to you about the food, about what the food is hitting on. They're not going to lie about any of these things. They're actually going to be honest about what's going on. And he doesn't take into account, oh yeah, I'm just going to talk about the food. He also takes into account how was I treated as a customer. So there have been many instances where not only was he treated like they had great customer service, not only to him when he is able to go pick up the food himself, but also to, his people that he sends in there to get the food if he wants this to be something that's anonymous because, someone asked him to come. So that is always a great thing in itself. So at this point in time, Keith Lee has helped so many people. There have been so many restaurants that have taken, like, they've skyrocketed out of this world where the lines are wrapped around the building. And I'm not just talking about your regular brick and mortar restaurants. I'm talking about, your food truck places where the lines for the food trucks will be wrapped around the corner. And it's not just in Vegas where this has happened where he lives. It's been also for other states. Like in other states, he has had the, lines wrapped around. Some people been like, this been my spot for years, and now there are a whole bunch of people up in here. And I got to get here a little earlier if I won't get the food. If I won't get my food on time, I got to get here a little quick, fast, in a hurry because the people's is here. So Keith Lee, I don't know when he decided to do this, but he decided to decided to do a food tour. Now the food tour has taken him to LA. I believe he started in Vegas. He's been to LA. He's been to Chicago. He's been to Detroit. He's been to New Orleans. He has been to Atlanta. And this is where he had the biggest issue, going to Atlanta. So hear Keith Lee speak about, what he does and how he gets down. And, here we are.
Okay, let's talk about it. Every restaurant that me and my family go to, we were either A, invited by the restaurant themselves, or B, was told about the restaurant 100 plus times. From locals, from people who mention me, from people who email me, DM me. 99% of the time, I never go to a random restaurant. With that being said, my opinion was asked for. So many narratives being pushed, and it's insane to me. But let's be honest, what else do you want from me? If I go to a bunch of restaurants and have a string of good experiences, then I'm being too nice, I'm lying, the narrative is being pushed that my eye roll is fake and I'm lying just to help people. Then on the same hand, if I go to 2 or 3 restaurants where I don't have the best experience, now I'm tearing down businesses, now I'm being mean, now I need to shut up, now I need to mind my business, I need to sit down. Again, I can't win for losing. I understand everybody gonna have an opinion on the situation. You can disagree with me, you cannot like what I say. Completely understand, I'm okay with that. But when my safety and my family safety start coming into play, that's where I draw the line at. But what can't happen is with my family or the restaurants or anybody's safety start coming into play. It's absolutely overboard. Especially when I was asked to give my opinion. Because you telling me my opinion only matter if it's positive. Because if it's positive, you got my face plastered on the wall and you saying Keith Lee been here. But if it's negative, I need to sit down somewhere and you don't know who I am. That's crazy to me. It was so much positive that happened in Atlanta that was shunned by the negative. It was so many restaurants we was blessed enough to help. We went to an array of restaurants like we always do at every city. I'm gonna be 100% transparent, 100% candid. Me and my family will postpone touring if other cities gonna be like this. Every review not gonna be the best. I'm gonna be 100% honest. If you want me to come, please understand, I will be honest. I don't mean no harm. I don't have no malicious intent. I mean that, and when I say it, I mean it. People be like, well, you know what you're doing. You know if you give a bad review, people gonna come and flood it with hate comments. What else do you want me to do? I'm telling people not to go and leave hate comments. I'm telling people not to leave negative comments. I'm telling people make their own opinions. You want me to lie and say I had a good experience, or you want me to only post the videos when I have a positive experience? Then all of the videos I post is only gonna be positive experience. Then the narrative is gonna be pushed and I'm only trying to be positive, and we're gonna end up in the same situation. And on top of that, I think something is getting lost in translation. When that happens, the restaurants that we are blessed enough to help won't be helped in the same manner because people won't show up in the same way because my reviews would be inauthentic. One of the reasons people show up the way they do is because they know I'm being honest and I'm giving my personal opinion and my personal perspective on the situation. But if I don't do that anymore, it won't be the 3 or 4 hour wait times, and now we won't be able to help business owners and we won't be able to give back to the community. In the grand scheme, that's what this is about. It's about giving back. It's about giving back to the community. It's about stimulating the economy. That's what it's about. All the other stuff, I'm a simple man in real life. As long as me and my family healthy and safe and we can live a comfortable life, I'm straight. Again, it's a double-edged sword. I understand with great power comes great responsibility. God made me for this. I'm built for this. At the end of the day, I just want to eat food, walk in my path. If you want to be on a journey with me, you are more than welcome. If you don't, God bless you. Y'all have an amazing day. Y'all be safe. And nobody's safety should be on the line. Not mine, not my family, not the restaurants that we go to. Relax. Like, relax, bro. Like, I understand. I get it. But at the end of the day, what you want me to do? You want me to lie? I can't do that. I'll walk away from everything before I lie. I'm telling you that right now. On 10 toes. Everything. God bless you.
So that was Keith and him talking about, everything that's been happening in Atlanta, and a lot of people questioning him and, what do you know? How do you do it? What do you really give to the conversation? Are you really a food reviewer? And different things like that. He's also run into the issue where people feel like he should lie. They feel like because these are Black-owned restaurants, that he should lie about, the situation, that he shouldn't be honest with the people about the experience, about the food, about what's really going on, and that he should just lie because you shouldn't be tearing down Black businesses, you should be uplifting them. But at what point does, and in the quotation marks, us telling the truth is tearing down these businesses? Because if you lie to them, they're just going to continue to move on and continue with this behavior that is not right, it's not correct, and it shouldn't be a thing when it comes to customer service in the food industry. And then also it's a hindrance to the community around, because then you don't have money circulating in that community because people don't want to eat at these places. So then you open it up, that community, to being able for people to come in and gentrify and just wipe out the people who were there, because that's what's happening at this point. We see gentrification happening. You have all these issues with these restaurants down there because you can't afford rent because people keep moving in down there. Maybe your customer service wasn't great, maybe your food wasn't great, maybe it's a mix between both and you don't want to change. So now there's an issue and people don't want to spend their money with you, and people are either spending money at one certain place, cooking more at home, or they just don't circulate no money around. So then you have to shut down, which then gives gentrifiers opportunities to come in and buy up a lot of property and put in things that don't nobody want or don't nobody need, because really people want good southern cooking when they come, like real soul food, real good southern soul food when they come to Atlanta, because it's the South. You want to have great food. So once again, Keith Lee, he goes to these restaurants, and it's not just black owned restaurants. He's been to, you know, um, Asian owned restaurants, Caucasian owned restaurants, Latinx owned restaurants, black owned restaurants, food trucks, and so much more. Different businesses, like a cookie business, a chocolate business. He's tried all of them, been very honest, and it has helped so many people. So many people have been helped by what he's done. And a lot of people just can't take real, true blue criticism. So let's just get into this Atlanta food tour.
This week has been insane. This is a recap of everything that's happened this week. The good and the not so good. Let's talk about it. Let's just address the elephant in the room. These 2 videos were posted yesterday.
Make sure if they get food, we'll sit down.
Long story short, me and my family tried to go to Old Lady Gang, and that situation just wasn't for me. And I want to be very clear. Usually when celebrities come in, they want to be treated like that. I'm not a celebrity. I'm a normal person. So I get the employee was just trying to do her job. I'm just not the target audience for that kind of treatment. So we went to another place. We went to the Toast on Lennox timeline. We went to Old Lady Gang. I shot the video. We left and went to Toast on Lennox. Toast on Lennox is where those 2 videos were taken. I had no intention of shooting the video. We just went to eat food. We walked up. It was a 2.5 hour wait time. But the people that were waiting were dressed to the nines, head to toe. On Sunday in Atlanta, people go to brunch, so they expect to wait. We didn't know that. While I was there, me and my wife took a picture with a lady who does food reviews. She has nothing to do with the situation other than the fact that we took a picture together while she was eating. They said it was a 2.5 hour wait time. We said, okay, we're gonna go somewhere else. While we walked out, the entire staff walked out behind us. They attempted to implore us to stay and said that we can sit down immediately. Again, I'm not the target audience for that. Usually I would just leave, but before we left, we saw 2 cars with 2 people in each car. So they were separate. It was 2 girls in one car over here. It was 2 girls in one car over here. One car had been waiting for an hour and a half. The other car had been waiting for an hour. One car was trying to do takeout. One car was trying to sit down. So again, the people that were waiting inside, that were dressed to the nines, they didn't mind waiting. But the people that were sitting in these cars, I didn't like that. So the owner and the manager walked out and they offered us a table for us to be able to sit down. We told them as a family that we would do takeout, but we wouldn't eat in the restaurant. And the only way we would do takeout is if they gave the table that they was gonna get to us to the 2 girls that was sitting in this car, which they did. And on top of that, they had to make sure the girls that was sitting in this car got takeout before we did, which again, they did. The staff and the owner were extremely accommodating. They were nice, they were accommodating, they were professional. And again, that's just my experience. When we got the food, we all enjoyed it. Personally, the food was good to me. But again, I wasn't recording anything. I was just eating. We paid for our food and I tipped the waitress $500. I wasn't gonna say nothing about it because again, I was just eating food. But these videos came out and I just wanted to make sure we clear it up. The lady we met inside the restaurant had nothing to do with anything. She was just eating food. And I wasn't arguing with nobody. I don't argue. I even said in the video that they recorded, I'm just Keith. Social media aside, I'm a normal person.
Social media aside, I'm just Keith.
Cardi B went live last night and she said this about our situation.
Talking about this guy called Keith that he does restaurant review, and I'm like, who is that? I know that being a restaurant owner is a lot of hard work. And so many people have invested money in their restaurants. People, like this, is their everything. But I always find this. Eating in Atlanta, it is such an event. You could barely order in Atlanta restaurants. Like you go like, hey, I would like to make an order. Oh yeah, we don't take orders. They don't do no pickup orders. They don't do deliveries.
God is amazing. Shout out to Cardi B. The Real Milk and Honey is one of the restaurants that me and my family went to. The Real Milk and Honey and Milk and Honey are 2 different restaurants. The Real Milk and Honey is a restaurant we went to. Milk and Honey is a restaurant we did not attend. I already was very clear and transparent, asking y'all not to leave hate anywhere. But specifically, don't leave hate to the Milk and Honey. They didn't do anything. Update, I just received a notice from the owner of the Milk and Honey. The place that we did not go to, them and their employees been receiving death threats. I'm absolutely 100% not with that. That's so corny and so lame, regardless of my opinion on any restaurant, even if it's the Real Milk and Honey. We don't do that over here at all. If you do that, you are not somebody that watch me and not somebody that support what me and my family are on. God bless you. And I mean, under any circumstances, that's not okay in my eyes. But again, if y'all would listen to me, don't leave hate nowhere. If you would like to have your own personal experience on any of these restaurants, I encourage you to go. But now to the most important thing. These are all the amazing things we're able to do while we're in Atlanta.
I've been through so much to open this restaurant. Didn't even know I was gonna be able to open it. And tonight who walked through my door? Keith Lee.
So I had to stop it because there is some copyrighted music in there. But basically, that lady, like, he being honest, like, everywhere they go, they're either invited or they want to try it out, or people tell them you should try like this restaurant. Cardi B, like you heard the audio, that's her. She was on live and she was telling the truth. She, in the longer version of that, she said she's had to drop, like, she doesn't like dropping her name at restaurants. She just wants to be able to get food and, be done with it. But if she's sending her assistant or anyone else to get the food, she's like, please just drop my name so I can get my food, because the wait times be astronomical. Now, and I said I had to stop the video. It's not because I'm like, oh, some shady stuff is happening. No, I had to stop it because there's copyrighted music in there, and I don't know, I don't want no problems with YouTube or anything like that. Um, I don't want no problems with the music part. But like I said, Keith Lee has been helping a lot of people with their businesses. Like y'all heard that lady. She's been struggling to get this restaurant off the ground. And he stopped in. He felt like the customer service was great. The food was great. It's Keith Lee certified. So now all the restaurants that he stopped at, great customer service, great food, rated it well, had a good experience there. Not only him, but his family and the other customers as well. Keith Lee certified. Lines wrapped around the block to get in. Lines wrapped around the block to get your food and go. Lines wrapped around the block to be able to just come sit down and eat. Lines wrapped around the block just to be able to, do your pickup order and get your stuff and go. Orders just going, 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 going. And that's what you want. You want your place of business to be busy. You want to be able to be in the black. You want to be able to make payroll every week. You want to be able to have money that you can put back into the restaurant to make it better. You want to be able to have money to buy fresh ingredients. You want to be able, if you need to make renovations to your restaurant or you want to open a second location, you want to be able to do that. And we want to see more Black business owners out here who are running real businesses. They give great customer service, great food. Everything is very much consistent. It's not a switch up at any time when it comes to how you treat the customers or what your food is giving. It's consistency across the board, respect across the board. You want to have all these things. And honestly, when Keith Lee comes into your restaurant and you have great customer service, not just for him because he's who he is, but you have great customer service for the people he sent in to get his food for him. So you're not, just to make sure you're not trying to treat him better than all the other customers just because he's a celebrity. Not even a celebrity, because he doesn't consider himself a celebrity, but y'all will consider him a celebrity. He is, in his words, he's a regular person, but he just has a little more influence. Y'all are not treating him like someone with an influence that can get you something, because he's not about to lie to these people. So this is the long wait at Toast that he was talking about in the last video.
Make sure if they get food, we'll sit down. If they get food first, we sit down. That's the only way we sit down. If they get food.
Y'all heard him.
God bless y'all.
You too.
Because the lines are super duper long. I feel like I was muted. So basically in that Toast video, he was basically saying if they get food, we'll sit down. If they're able to get their food, we'll sit down, because like they told them the wait line was like 2 hours. So his family came back out and they were his family came back out. He went in, he was told what the wait time was. Like the wait line was 2 hours. So it was just like, if everybody else who's been waiting longer than us get to sit down and eat, we'll sit down and eat. But it's just like, no, that's not the case. No, that's not the case. The people was trying to come out and be like, oh, we have a table for you. And once again, this man has said, I want to be treated like a regular, normal person who is going to be a customer here at your restaurant. I'm here to, just eat and receive, exemplary customer service, which you expect that to be a thing when you come to restaurants. But that is not the case. That is not the case down here in Atlanta. So He gave a review of the Real Milk and Honey, not to be confused with the Milk and Honey. The Milk and Honey has multiple locations. They don't have no issues. A lot of people after the review he gave, the real Milk and Honey, REAL, were like the customer, like not the customers, the employees at the Milk and Honey. The only difference is someone slapped the real in front of the Milk and Honey part. The Milk and Honey, like their customers were not customers, their employees were getting death threats. They were getting bad reviews because once again, y'all jumped the gun and not understanding that. First of all, you shouldn't be leaving reviews at a place that you never went to anyway, and you shouldn't be sending anybody death threats. That's first and foremost. But y'all didn't hear or didn't care to hear that he said the real Milk and Honey and not the Milk and Honey, down to the Real Milk and Honey. It was a bad experience, and he was honest about that experience. He didn't drag them. He was just being regular Keith Lee. This was my experience. This is what my thoughts were, and hopefully, next time it'll be better for someone else. But I didn't eat there and different things like that. So this was the Real Milk and Honey's response to him.
Did you see this Keith Lee video about the Real Milk and Honey? And who is this Keith Lee? Daddy, you don't know Keith Lee? Yeah. No.
So that was the owner of the Real Milk and Honey saying, "Who is this Keith Lee? Who is he?" And the little girl was like, "You don't know who he is?" It's the worst, I believe myself. I would say that was the worst response that they could have given. It was the worst response they could have given. Hello, Deb. Hello. So that's not the only worst response they could have given. The owner of the Real Milk and Honey went on the radio station and said, that the people don't go to restaurants for the food. They come for the experience. And based off y'all Google reviews, the people not coming for the experience either. Because one of the Google reviews said, the music was so loud that when I went up to the hostess, she couldn't hear me and I couldn't hear her. So I just put my name on the wait list. And by the time I got seated, I asked my server, could y'all turn down the music? And I was told no. The people aren't liking the experience either. Here is a video about, and I hope, Deb, I hope you could hear this one because Nola was up here and she was having a hard time hearing it. But the Real Milk and Honey's manager and employee, yeah, she decided to offend a lot of people.
Oh, it's been brought to my attention that this woman who made this comment, right, is the manager for motherfucking Milk and Honey. She not the manager. She at least worked for the company or something. And she calling Keith Lee autistic. Y'all, I was also tagged in several other distasteful comments and videos that this whole company has made regarding Keith Lee, saying, oh, who's Keith Lee anyways? Brethren, wallahi. Keith Lee is the fastest restaurant ruiner I know. He gets down. He don't play. In my opinion, Keith Lee determines whether or not a lot of businesses feed their families. You get what I'm saying? Honestly, bro, if you wake up and decide Chick-fil-A, this ain't hitting 2 out of 10, you gotta close up shop. You can't sell another chicken sandwich. And mind you, all of this over a food review. All I can say is count your days. You have 3 left. I'm making sure of it. I promise, Pinky. In a week tops, that restaurant will be called The Real Keith and Ronnie.
So did you hear all of that?
I did.
Okay, you live in Atlanta. Have you ever been to the Real Milk and Honey? Not the Milk and Honey.
I haven't been to either one.
Okay, have you ever heard anything about the Real Milk and Honey? Because the only difference is they added real to the front of it.
This is the first time I've ever heard of the restaurant. But I don't really eat out. Yeah, I don't really eat out a lot here. I think I'm starting to because of my job. Like they go out a lot, but I've never heard of it.
Okay. So you haven't heard of this place, but to the places that you have been before we continue on with everything that has happened. To the places you have been, do they, because based off what I'm hearing a lot about the people in Atlanta and how they feel about these restaurants is they have crazy rules. instead of waiting for someone to tip, either I'm tipping in cash or tipping on my card, they automatically add the tip
They do.
to their bill. The wait time is very much crazy for how long you have to wait for a table to sit down. They don't take reservations, and there's not a like you can't call an order for like pickup.
A lot of places are like that here. I'm trying to find this receipt. So I'm gonna show you this. I don't know if you can see it.
Hold on, wait a minute. What that say?
So
That looked like a big number, Deb. Is that a big number?
it is. It says subtotal was $473.50.
Hold on, run it back.
Now, mind you, it was 6 of us.
Mm-hmm.
All checks. The gratuity was $85.23. The taxes were $49.71. So the total was $608.44. This is just what my job paid for. This does not include the drinks and stuff that we had as well. This just happened this happened last week at a restaurant called Blue Seafood here.
Okay. Hold on. Give me 1 second as I bring no up. So is that like would you say that was like 1,000?
Close. We probably paid close to $1,000
for food and drinks.
For food and drinks, yes.
For how many people?
6 people.
Now,
mind you, the prices of the food the prices are very high.
I'm no mathematician now.
Our server barely came to the table. And like for that, like to automatically, and I think it gives them an excuse to not have to come as much because they automatically add that tip.
Hey Mace, hello. Hey Mace, welcome. I sent Kimmy the link because Kimmy is a real. I'm not saying you're not a real Atlantean, okay? I'm not saying that. But Kimmy been living there her entire life. But this so debonair, if y'all don't know, Deb lives in Atlanta, so that's why I asked him to come up here because he can speak to it. And then we have Nola Reeds, that they my family, not by blood, but I love them anyway. This Nola Reeds, my cousin, she visits Atlanta often, so she can speak on the food.
Our mom lives here.
Yes, her listen, Mother Reeds.
Our mom lives here.
Yes, but I said Mother Reeds. Okay. And if you're wondering, if anybody like catches this on the playback and is wondering, well, why would you have anything to say about it? I have family that lives in Atlanta. I figure one of these days I'm gonna actually have to visit. Depending on what the situation is, I probably will be dragged down there kicking and screaming. Not that I don't want to ever visit Atlanta. I like my house. I like being at home. I don't really fool out loud with the people outside. Okay, outside is ghetto. But being in Kansas City and my mother and my sister visiting Atlanta and having people that I know going down to Atlanta and them coming back, and I was like, how was the food? Did you stop here? Did you go there? They said it wasn't hitting on nothing either. That's what my people said.
I'll say, like, a lot of us, like, we that live here, we don't really do restaurants like that. Like, we cook, you know what I'm saying? Because like I couldn't tell you a restaurant here that I'm like, oh my God, I love this food. I have to eat here all the time. Like I just can't name one. I remember when I first moved here, Busy Bees. Everybody loved Busy Bees. I remember when it's the first time I even came here and I seen Bone Crusher in there.
Mm-hmm.
And I got there, ate the food, but I wasn't like impressed at all. It was so packed. The restaurant is very small. But it just wasn't what people were saying. Like my grandmother in Ohio was better than that. So I don't get it. Like I'm trying to think of other places. I know we have a place called Mary Max that's here. Again, it's a long way outside of that as well. The history behind that place probably is more why people visit there because it is an old tea house from back in slavery.
Mm-hmm.
And I can't really tell you the full story about it or whatever, but even the way that it's set up is kind of creepy to me because like most of the servers are black and like the people that eat there are white. So it's kind of like it gives still slavery to me.
Okay. So Do you think the places in, like the places you're talking about with the long waits, do you believe they have the long waits because they
Oh no, I'm not eating them.
me neither. Wouldn't be there. Do you think they have long waits because of the rules that they place? Like you can't call in an order, you can't make reservations, things like that.
I think a lot of the places, and I'll even add the clubs to this. A lot of those places have those long lines because they want the people that ride past to feel like it's like packed. I need to eat here. And I'll say, especially with the black-owned businesses, it's like that. Like they create this buzz, they overcharge you for a lot of things, and then your experiences just don't be what it should be.
Mm.
And even with like him going to OLG, now you guys know being busy, we went.
Yeah, we're gonna get into that because we got that review. But before we get into that,
Okay.
Speaking, hold on, because this is like super short, so I need to set it on loop. I didn't figure out how to, get me little pictures up in here. Okay. So if y'all, she dropped down. Okay. These are the rules for the real milk and honey. So the first rule is, if you can't see, and I'm gonna go for the people who are watching, those are the rules, and then I'll read them off, and then Deb, you can tell me how you feel about these rules.
That place that I went to, the blue seafood place. This looks like their rules. They don't provide individual checks. However, they will allow up to 3 forms of payment. The 18% gratuity, you just saw that on that review that I showed you. Added to parties of 5 or more, or checks larger than $75. But it's like the food. Basically, if you get an appetizer, a main course, that's already past $75.
Yeah.
Don't add no dessert because it's really past that. No modifications to any of the menu's items. If you have a food allergy, please choose another item without. Wow. Be nice. No reservations unless you're Barack Obama. That's rude.
Yeah.
It's for everyone. No table is a hibernations, 90
Yeah.
minutes max. Others have to eat too. If we prepare your selected items to our menu specifications, we will not remove the item from their bill. Oh, wow. Our entrees are not samples things. No parties larger than 4 on days. Damn. That in Y. Okay, wow. We're a small place, and when we get busy, large groups are hard to accommodate. We do not push tables together. We have no waiting area inside. Keep in mind, if on the wait list, you can receive a text when your table is ready. Now, I have seen that too, but the text part, you can't wait.
Yeah. We used to have a hibachi, like it wasn't like a Benihana's where it's just like, there's one everywhere you may go. It was kind of like a local hibachi place, and they had the when your table was ready, like you could get seated with other people like they do at hibachi places, but when your table was ready, you kind like they either came and got you. Because it was like a very popular spot here in the city, but it closed like right before COVID. Or they would have like the little pager thing that'd be like, okay, once you get paged, you'll be able to sit down. That's how we did ours. My thoughts on, like, I don't like with the 18% gratuity added to parties or 5 or more.
They're capitalizing off the customers.
Yeah, very much so, because it's like you're adding an 18% gratuity to the checks already, and it's just like, how do you know? And that legit could be another live, because certain people have lost their minds when it comes to tips. How do you know people, like, have you experienced people not tipping? Is that a thing? Are you feeling like your customer base won't tip? Because if I have cash on me, I would rather tip in cash, so I know the money is going to the server. If I'm tipping on card, I'm like, well, whatever my check is, I'm just going to make it an even number. So it's going to be this amount of dollars and this amount of cents. So it's just like an even number, and it shows up like that on my transactions.
I don't think my best friend. He's from one of my best friends is from New Orleans. He's big on tipping. So like even if he won't like he will look at you like I know you lying. So our friend group we always tip. Like we always tip. Even with that, and well, I'll talk about that another time. But I just think that I do feel like people sometimes don't tip, and yes, some people feel. I mean, but a tip is a gift. You know what I mean? Depending on the service. If you have bad service, you don't deserve an 18% tip.
No, that's true. I'm like, if you give me great service, okay. So throwing this out there, when I graduated high school, we had a graduation party. Then me and my friends, like, and one of them, like my best friend, he's like my brother. We're still close, tight to this day. And when I call him, like it could be a week, it could be months of not talking. When we pick back up, it's just like no time has passed. We went out for food, and he was like, "Oh, I don't want to go because I don't have any money." And I'm like, "Well, I'll just pay for you. Like, that's not a problem." But our server, not only did she give us great service, like she was coming back and checking on us, and it's not like we went to like a super trendy restaurant or anything like that. Baby, we went down to the IHOP because it was open late, okay, serving everybody. Over 1 billion served. I'm not sure if that's the logo or the slogan, but we went there and it was just the three of us. She was she was making sure we like, you want to refill of water, you need to refill your drinks. Do you want more of this? Do you want more of that? She like got me a free dessert because me and my friend, because we both graduated. Our other friend was just a year behind us, got us free dessert. Like she took care of us. So I'm like, you deserve an amazing tip. The bill was at IHOP food is not that costly.
Right.
Automatically, like once it's like this, don't tip her $30.
See, and I'll say this. This is what I was going to say earlier. So I went to New Orleans last week or week before that. And like I don't know if you see my TikTok about that Beyonce restaurant.
No, I didn't see that, but I'm gonna have to go check it.
Yeah, it's called the B Spot. If y'all in New Orleans, please go check it out. But when I tell you, it was from the time you walked in to the time you left, it was such a good time. The service was amazing.
Shout out to New Orleans.
Right. The chef came out, her mom was there, her cousins was there. Like it was a great time. So they had, I think their gratuity was added to it, but we tipped them like well.
Yeah.
Because the experience that we had there, not only was the food good, but the experience was even better.
I used to my first job where I had to file taxes for, it was down to the Papa John's. Don't hold that against me. It was the only one I could get at the time. I used to get tips. Like she keep dropping. I don't know what's going on. I used to work off of tips. That was the thing. I used to get tips. I used to be tipped because I was working the front of the store. So if it was slow at the front and people are just calling in for delivery, obviously I have to do that and all those great things. But when people are coming in or coming to pick up their stuff, they would tip me. And I would have to cash out my tips at the end of once I was leaving, I got to cash out my tips. But the people would tip me. Sometimes it would just be a couple cents. Sometimes it'd be a couple of dollars. And sometimes instead of tipping me on their receipt, they would just hand the money over to me and just be like, here's your tip. And I appreciated that. I was working for tips, and I definitely appreciated that because one time in the 5 days that I worked that day, even though I was supposed to be working 7 days out of that week, the 5 days that I worked, I automatically had $100 and something in my pocket. Cash alone. Not even what my paycheck is supposed to be. So I don't expect tips from people. That's not a thing I expect. If you want to give me a tip, that's great, but I never expect to be tipped. I can get down with, you automatically add in the tip to like an 18% tip, because how do you know that's what I wanted to tip in the first place?
But I was going to say this too earlier. Also, because we were talking about tipping, also everybody can't afford to tip. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's another thing.
Yeah, and people, so forcing people to tip is crazy to me.
That's another thing. Like when I go out, say I'm going to meet with my friends, now I'm starting to budget my money better. Shout out to being 25. I guess your brain do change. I started my budget and I'm like, okay, well, I need to have this fund and this fund and this fund. That way I'm not dipping into other places where it's like, if I want to tip somebody, I can actually tip them what I want and not what I can afford.
Right.
And I don't have to worry about looking like, oh, you're cheap, or you can't, not just do that. Even though that's not how I'm like, that's not how my friends are going to like make me feel. I don't ever want to, like, I know what it feels like to work in the food service industry. I want to make sure these people are at least able to get a little bit of money in their pocket before they leave up out of here tonight.
Mm-hmm.
But
are you looking at these rules still?
Yeah, I'm looking at these rules too, because these rules are a mess.
Yeah. I think like to have rules at a restaurant is crazy to me.
Like,
I mean, not. Let me take that back. These rules are crazy to me.
These rules are crazy to me. Like, no shoes, no shirt, no service.
Right.
That's regular. Be respectful. That's regular.
Right.
Don't cause any issues up in here, or you will be put out accordingly. That's regular. And you can't run up. Don't run off your, like, don't run out on your check. Regular rules that every restaurant should have.
Right.
But saying we do not provide individual checks, however, we will allow up to 3 forms of payment.
It's given lazy.
It is. Me and my friends, my friend lives, like, we're all from, the same area, but one of my friends lives out of state now because they went to grad school out of state, and then they decided to stay there and work. So when they come back home and we go to different places, and we just recently went to the Red Robins. Okay, shout out to the steak fries, very good. And the waiter, not only was the waiter attentive and asking us, do you want anything else?
Oh, did you see my DM I sent you to?
Oh, hold on. I gotta fill up the phone. But very attentive and different things like that. The waiter, when the waiter came back to the table as we were winding down our night, the waiter was like, is this all on the same check or is this separate? Mm-hmm. And we were like, separate, because we get different things. Mm-hmm. Some of us have food allergies. Mm-hmm. And if we're going out on a night where people are having like alcoholic drinks, if you didn't have no alcoholic drink, I'm not paying for that.
Right.
So we always do separate checks, because it's just like, well, I spent this much, that's fine. Mm-hmm. Oh, okay. That's why she's not staying locked in. Okay, Nola, I understand. Let me go to the DMs. Oh, I got that. We're going to talk about that one. I got that too.
The one where he responded?
Yeah, I got what Ocho said, and then I have the response.
Okay.
These rules are crazy to me. Let's just finish going through the rules, because the splitting of the check, crazy. That should always be something. It's given very much lazy, and you don't want to do it because it takes too much. You know what it gives me?
What?
Y'all didn't train y'all people.
Or they don't know math.
That too. They don't know math, and they're not trained correctly. Mm-hmm. The automatic tip, some people can't afford to tip. Some people can't afford that 18%. And how I wanted to tip you that much? Right. Or how I didn't want to tip you more?
Right.
No modifications to the top 10 brunch menu signature items. If you have a food allergy, please choose another item without the allergen. Let me explain this. I'm really finding it, so I won't have to curse. Mm-hmm. But no modifications to the food items. Listen, once again, the tripping, because my friend, I wouldn't take them here because they a little picky with their food. So say we go somewhere and it's just like, ooh, I want some chicken tenders. It'd be like, I don't want no sauce. No sauce, even though it comes with sauce, or the chicken tenders will have tossed in sauce. I don't want it. And the people are very accommodating. So if I say, your brunch menu got French toast on it, and I want to try the French toast, but I don't want, the fruit that come on it.
Right.
You telling me I can't have that because I just don't want the fruit?
Right.
I don't want the fruit.
It's giving. I don't want you to come here.
Yeah, it's giving. You don't want people to come here, and I don't know if it's y'all in cahoots in some way, because y'all trying to make sure that the gentrifiers come up in here and gentrify everything down to Atlanta, and they can do what they want to do to Atlanta. But this is a mess. Y'all don't want people to come.
But people always say that Atlanta's overhyped, and it really is, to be honest. People come here for the hype of it all, and then people come here because of life changes as well. And I think for me, I'm here just because I just needed to change in my. Well, I came because I was married, but I stayed because of the life change for me. And I say this too, even with like going out to the bars, when I tip the bartender, normally I'll just give him like a 20 for a tip, because I know I'm gonna go to the same bartender for the rest of the night. That way I don't have to keep giving the tip every time I do this. And I would do it with the cash. So I don't have to keep going on my card, and 3 days later I'm missing like $20 off my card. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. That makes sense. No reservations unless you're Barack Obama. Hey, there are exceptions to the rule. No, for a type of brunch place, like we have brunch places here in Kansas City where you can make reservations or they take walk-ins. Or it could be the same brunch place where they take reservations and they take walk-ins. It really depends on what's going on. But no reservations unless you're that person, and it's giving you don't want people to eat at your place.
It's also given they stole a culture from DC. And DC is kind of like this, but like there's a place called, I forgot what the name of the place is called, and people really don't go there anymore. But if I could think of the name of it, I'll let you know. But they were like this, where if you don't have a reservation, you can't come to like the main part. It's a hotel too, but they also have like another section where if you want to just walk up, you can go over to this part.
Yeah,
so
okay.
Atlanta took like half of what they were doing and like made this rule that doesn't make any sense.
That doesn't make any sense whatsoever. Oh, I forgot to mention. Thank you for jogging my memory. Keith Lee also went to DC and didn't have these problems. He's been to DC, New Orleans, Chicago, Detroit, where he is from. That's where he's from. LA, and then Vegas is where he lives currently. He hasn't had problems in these six places.
DC, like brunch was a big thing back in like 2000, and I think I moved there in 2014. So I want to say a little bit before that, brunch was a big thing for DC on Sundays. Atlanta, and I was visiting Atlanta frequently at that time. Atlanta wasn't doing brunch at all. Like it wasn't a thing because DC was really good for brunch and unlimited mimosas. Atlanta started doing brunches, but you had to pay for each mimosa, or you could pay for a pitcher, or like it was just different things, like different ways they would do it. So it's like they take things, especially, and I hate to say this, but it's Black people here. They take things from other cultures and bring it here, and then they overprice it.
Okay.
And then they give you rules like this, and it's like, if you want me to come here, just say that. You know what I mean? Like,
if you don't want my business,
if you just want my money, just put an ATM outside so I can deposit the money in here and move on.
That's what it feels like. We only got 3 more rules left. I think that's how that goes. Only 3 more left. If we prepare your selected item to our menu specifications, we will not remove the item from your bill. Our entrees are not samples, thanks. So let's be clear on something. If you prepare my food underdone, and you are opening me up to, and this is just a scenario, this is not what happened for the people in the back. If you prepare my food underdone and you're opening me up to having food poisoning, salmonella poisoning, or so much more, you're not going to remove this item from the menu because you feel like I'm trying to get over on you and this is not a sample.
Right.
But you almost took me up out this world. That makes no sense. If you prepared a food that's not supposed to have an allergen in it and you put the allergen on, you're not going to take it off the bill. You don't want people to eat at your restaurant. That's what it gives. Not having parties larger than 4 on days with end with Y. Once again, you don't want people to eat here. You just want the money. And you have no waiting area inside. I mean, I've known places that don't have waiting areas inside.
Yeah, me too.
Like that part's not a big deal. I've known places who don't have waiting areas inside. I've known places who have waiting areas outside or vice versa. Like that part's not a big deal, but it's really given y'all don't want people to eat there. So y'all have these crazy rules. So we move on.
It's also like you're trying to keep a particular type of person away from your business.
Yeah.
Which is understandable, but also is crazy. Because just because you feel like people who don't have enough money or can't afford to tip you or however you feel or whatever, or you don't want to go through the hassle of having to remake someone's food, or like this is what it is. Like if it's nasty, it's nasty. You know what I'm saying? Like I can't change the fact that my taste buds don't like something. And if you don't want people to return the food,
just simply hello.
Hey.
Hello.
If you don't want people to return the food, then maybe you should have a sampler before they do that. You know what I'm saying? That would make more sense than saying, this is not a sample. Our outros are not a sampler. Well, then have a sampler on the appetizers. Most restaurants have that. So that if I want to try it, I can do it on the sampler. And then if I don't like it, I can find something else.
This is true. A lot of people, like a lot of places do that. Going back to the Real Milk and Honey, the employee, the manager, I don't know who she is, but I know she allegedly worked there. We saw that video where she said y'all are taking y'all food advice from a man who is autistic. Y'all must be really dumb. Let's be clear, that is very ableist, ma'am. Very ableist, and now you are putting a stain on your already stained business because there are people who are high functioning autistic people on the spectrum. They're high functioning, they're low functioning, they're dysfunctioning, who would like to eat at a restaurant and be treated correctly. There are people with children who are autistic and probably very much took this as a dig and an insult at them, because it's just like you're telling me my child. First of all, autistic people are really, really smart.
Yeah.
And they be savants in different areas. They may not be like, ooh, the best at this, but they be like the best at like certain things that you maybe never thought to step into or maybe never thought to think about. So you have not only insulted a lot of people who may be autistic or may have autistic people in their family, you are also being ableist. You've also put a stain on the restaurant because it's just like, oh, I don't want to go here.
Did you see the video they had posted where like somebody went past and like the restaurant was empty?
I got that one too. I got that. I was doing my due diligence. So this is his review on the OLG and what went down there.
Yesterday, me and my family were at the One Music Festival. Somebody who works with Candy Birds walked up to us and said they've been trying to reach us since we got to Atlanta. He said he'd been constantly emailing me and constantly DMing me for me to come to Old Lady Gang. I got it. Let's try it and rate it 1 through 10. As you can see, I don't have any bags in my hands. Me and my family showed up and we attempted to order before we got here. We called the number they had connected on Yelp 3 times, no answer. We tried to order through DoorDash and they said it was temporarily closed. So when we pulled up, I sent my family in to order for us. They said on the weekends, due to being busy, they don't do any takeout at all.
They do to-go orders?
No, we don't do to-go on the weekend.
Oh, okay, so it's sit-in dining.
Yes.
Okay, thank you, sweetie. We appreciate you.
Which is completely understandable. So what we decided to do is my family's gonna go eat. They're just gonna come bring the food out while I'm sitting in the car, so they have no idea I'm here. My family asked how long the wait was to be seated. They said 1 hour to 1.5 hours.
Yes, 1.5 hours.
Okay.
She also said they didn't have any reservations available, so they didn't take down any number, any contact information, nothing. My family then came and relayed that message to me, and I decided to go in myself. We walked in and we were greeted by a nice young lady. And then I met some amazing people who were eating there, and we took some pictures. God is amazing. As soon as me and my wife were done taking pictures, the lady said the table was ready. As always, I don't want any special treatment. I want to be treated like everybody else. I pay for my food like everybody else. I'm a normal person. I'm a normal customer. Things like this is exactly why I do reviews the way I do. Just because I have a certain amount of followers on social media don't make me different from nobody. My mom, my mom-in-law, my sister, they all paying customers just like me. So I want them to be treated just like me. So I asked how long the wait time has been today. She said 1 hour to 1.5 hours. So which I then asked, how are you able to sit me in 5 minutes? This is her response.
How long are we looking for as far as wait?
I'm just gonna sit up there. 5 minutes. On the wait, the salt call came. Now it's whoever first come first serve.
Again, my family just attempted to eat there less than 2 minutes ago. I then told her I changed my mind. We're gonna go eat somewhere else, and I said God bless you, and I walked out.
On second thought, it's okay. We gonna go eat somewhere else. So I appreciate it though, for sure. Thank you. God bless. Thank you. Y'all have a great day.
Have a good one.
Have a great day.
I'm gonna be very transparent and honest. I am frustrated. Me and my family just trying to eat food. That's all we trying to do. At the same time, I am frustrated. I understand we are all humans. I do not agree. I do not support. I do not condone shaming this business based on my experience. Like every city we've been to since we've been on food tour, I go to an array of restaurants. From mom and pop shops to staples of the community to super popular to places nobody know about. And Atlanta has definitely been a unique experience for me and something I'll never forget. Thank you for inviting me. I appreciate it from the bottom of my heart, genuinely. But I'm a normal person and I want to be treated like everybody else. God bless you. Have an amazing day. Y'all be safe. And I'm not playing. I understand everybody got their own opinions on situations, but don't go leaving them 0-star reviews. You ain't never been here before. If you like to, come experience it yourself and then leave your reviews. But just leaving a review based on my experience is crazy in my opinion. God bless you.
Keith Lee, real nice. He real nice. That's a nice man. That's a nice young man. He is. So somebody came up to him at a festival, said, let's try, they want you to come to OLG. Like he does it all the time. If you follow him on TikTok, have been following him for a while, this is just a normal thing. He wants to be treated like a normal person. So if it's, especially when it's on this food tour, he does not want to go in because he knows you're not going to treat him like a normal person. Especially,
he's not a normal person though.
Yeah, but that's the thing. He's like, he knows he's not a normal person, so that's why he sends his, like, you don't know who his people are because, like, you may recognize his wife if you actually follow him, but he has mother-in-law, sister-in-law, sister, his mom, maybe a brother, maybe a cousin, someone on his team. He sends them in to get the food so he can give, like, a real, honest response to, what was y'all customer service experience like, and then he can, tell you what the food is like. Now, for places he can go, like where the people don't know him, or he's able to call in an order, because he'll tell you, hello, on his TikTok, he'll say, I will disguise my voice. I will try to do my best to make sure they don't recognize me, because he wants to get the real experience as just like a regular customer. So even though most of the time he can't be treated normal because you do have this following, he tries his best to be treated as normal as possible. And if I just sent people in here that you don't recognize and are not, don't have the influence I have, or the celebrity that a lot of people like to put on people, even though they're not celebrities. If I send these, like what you would consider regular people in here, and you told them an hour and a half, but I walked up in here and now it's 5 minutes, I'm going to be wondering what's going on. Like, why is it now? Oh, yeah, it's only 5 minutes. That's it. Oh, hello, Janet Holiday. This is Keith Lee. Keith Lee he started on TikTok. He was originally a fighter for, I think, Bellator. He was a MMA, I believe it's either MMA or UFC. He was a fighter, and he's like traveled all over the world. And one of the most important things was like food, being able to have good food as you're traveling and fighting and doing all these things. So during the pandemic, he started, doing TikToks. After his contract ended, he has done interviews with Kev on Stage. He said this on his own TikTok. If y'all want to check that out. He started doing like food reviews, and he was doing it around Vegas. That's where he lives, was going to different restaurants. He was just, telling the people that these are places that don't get a lot of, traffic in them, but they have amazing food. And people just start showing up. They was like, well, if you say the food is great, and he tells people, my taste buds are my taste buds. So what tastes good to me may not taste good to you. But I'm just giving you my opinion on what the food is like. He started doing this. He blew up on TikTok, and a lot of people were, once again, started in Vegas. A lot of people started, frequenting these restaurants. People were coming from out of, from different states to come to Vegas to try these restaurants. People were flying in from different countries to try these restaurants. So he's a food critic, a food reviewer, who'll just be going around trying food and giving you his honest, opinion on the food and the customer service. And he tell you, hey, don't leave a review based off my experience. Actually go try it out for yourself because yours may be different than mine.
I want to ask you a question.
Yes.
So when it comes down to OLG, what was the biggest issue here?
For him, the biggest issue is people who are regular, that you would consider regular, you don't know them. They go in, they're told hour and a half, there's no wait list like the other restaurants, you're not able to make a reservation, you're not able to do like just order here and do a pickup, and they leave, they go back out. When he comes in, it's now 5 minutes. I can get you a table set up in 5 minutes.
Which is regular in Atlanta. That's regular for a person that they consider a celebrity, right?
Yeah.
So if you want a regular experience, to me, like I understood the real Milk and Honey situation because I mean she was rude, and those rules were terrible.
Yes.
When it comes to OLG, I do have a little bit of leniency here, only because, and it's not even because like I went and they did, they gave us the whole thing. To me, those are regular rules. And I was going to say this, but I was like, you said, let's wait. So my first time going to OLG, I got turned around because it was like it was during COVID, and they was closing early on Sundays. And my friend that came out of town, he wanted to go with him and his boyfriend. But then when me and Busy went, it was very different. It was almost like, the treatment that he probably would have got when he went in there. Like the whole cast from the show sat down and talked to us. We paid for our food. Candy still made us pay for the food. She did bring us 2 things. I think she brought us the fried deviled eggs and something else. Oh, I think it was the fried deviled eggs and the fried pickles. But everything else we paid for. Maybe the kitchen was cooking a little bit better that day. I don't know. Because I do see different reviews about it. People didn't like it or whatever. But, when me and Busy, when we had a great experience, the food was good. And that's what it was. To me, I feel like, yes, his expectation is to go in and be a regular customer like everybody else, but you're not a regular person. You're not a regular customer. And yeah, you can send your mom or whoever in there who doesn't know anyone, but they're going to get what they normally give everybody else is, listen, these are the regular, this is how we normally run our operations. And we can't change that, but we are waiting on him to come here. So, and we know he doesn't live here. So we set aside this space in case he did come here, come on in, let's do this. They probably, even if the place was closed or getting ready to close, they probably would say open a little bit later for him so that he could have ate there. You know what I mean? So I really didn't get the gripe I didn't understand the situation from OLG, because your expectation of how you want to be treated versus who you are is 2 different things. And I feel like even what you said before this, those smaller places, they are gaining from him coming there. I watched the video today from a man with some wings. I forgot what the food truck was called. But he ate the wings. He's like, he liked the wings. I think it was one day he was like, it's too salty or something, but he liked the rest of them. He went back and to see like what the progress was. Like it was packed around the corner because he did the review. I think even what you'll play later, I thought about this. The impact that he does have is like, I'm going to give you business, I'm going to shut it down. And I think he has to be conscious about his reviews. Like the real Milk and Honey, absolutely, the review he gave was granted, but the one for OLG, to me, it didn't make a lot of sense for me.
And I think that's where like the patrons get it, messed up. Hello. I think that's where the patrons get it messed up, because he himself says this was only my experience,
right? And
he stresses that all the time. Not just like this, this food tour. He's done it for all the cities that he's traveled to. Right. This is my experience. So don't leave them bad reviews, and don't not come to this place because maybe your experience will be different. It's a thing of people not listening. When it's something,
I don't
just
think
hear me.
I don't
Just hear
think
me
it.
out.
Okay, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Just hear me out. When it's something good and he's giving a good review, like customer service, great, food great, people are going to go.
Right.
But when it's a situation of, I've tried this and it wasn't for me. The people feel like, oh well, if it wasn't for him and then this happened, or they didn't see them and they felt like a this hour wait and they want to sit him 5 minutes, they're terrible, they're horrible, I'm gonna leave bad reviews. That's because y'all have decided to do that. The man has told you not to do it. He stresses. I cannot stress anymore. Go for yourself. Try it for yourself, because my experience may not be your experience. Just like my taste buds may not be the same as your taste buds. Like you just said, the man said, you know what? I tried these. They're a little salty, but I like these other things. So him telling you to go try it for yourself, in like reality, it can make or yes, his review can make or break a restaurant. But I feel like OLG will not be one of those that it will make or break. Because people still don't come. People still come out of state to come sit at OLG. I just think, in the grand scheme of things, if you aren't doing if you don't have reservations, I mean, that's your restaurant. You choose to do that. But if people can't make pickup orders, you don't have a wait list, because they don't have a wait list based off what was told. They didn't have.
Well, no, what he said was on the weekends they don't, especially on Sundays.
So
they really don't. During the week, you can.
Yes, so on the weekends they don't have a wait list.
Right. Because normally when people are coming to Atlanta, because this is a big tourist attraction, it's a lot. You know what I'm saying? So that made sense to me. To me, I feel like a review should have been done on OLG, because he never went to OLG besides them letting him know the regular rules. Listen, we don't do takeout orders on Sundays, and we're booked. Your family can't come in, but you're here. We have space for you. I mean, that comes with the privilege of him being a TikToker who does reviews. So they're going to do different for you. They do it for anyone else. That goes out. That's outside of even TikTokers with celebrities. The same thing. Even Cardi B was like, if I said so and so, I'm gonna say to drop my name, because because they're going to do different. Is that right? Probably not. But also, it's like almost like your friends coming over. Like, if my friends are coming, my colleagues are coming over, I'm going to do different than some strangers coming over to try some food.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm saying, for me, it just didn't make sense for the actual review, because there wasn't nothing. It wasn't like he showed like they were being rude to anyone that came in. It was just like, listen, we can't do this. We can't do this. The wait time, we don't have a wait time. That's all it was. But those are regular rules at there. But there was nothing rude. Came to come on and saying, he has autism or, nothing like that.
Yeah.
So I didn't get that part of the review part. And I feel like that's something he could have kept, or came back when the hours were, when they were open, where he could go. But that also is like, if you're going to go to a restaurant, did you see what the times are that they were open? Did you read, when you can take out orders or whatever? Like, you can't just show somewhere to be like, oh, the rules, and I should be able to come in. And because I can't come in, I didn't know these rules. Well, those rules have been there before you showed up to Atlanta.
I mean, I can see it that way. I don't know if he will ever try to go back. I think right now Atlanta as a whole is definitely on pause, because
absolutely, as they should be. Like, a lot of restaurants have a rude mentality when it comes to going.
Not even just that. Like, his family is getting death threats, so he's put it on pause.
Wait, whose family is Keith's?
Keith's family has been getting, his family, him and his family have been getting death threats, and he's like, Atlanta is a whole different thing. I'm gonna put this on pause. Yeah. I don't get that. Listen, when he reviewed the Real Milk and Honey, nobody had an issue. But as soon as he gave, his experience is his experience, and he shared that about OLG. Well, who does he think he is? He's not a food reviewer. He's not a real food critic. And it's like, but the man told y'all this.
Yeah, but I mean, he can say that, but technically he's a TikTok food reviewer. Like that's what he does on TikTok. So
Yeah.
you can say that I'm not black. I can say I'm not black all the time, but the reality is I'm black. You know what I'm saying? I can say I'm not a man, but reality is I'm a man. And again, I just feel like when it comes down to that one, and people might think that I'm biased because I went there. I'm cool with those people, but that's not really what it is. I understood all of those, and had they have been rude to him or something, I could have seen that. But all they was telling was the regular things they tell everyone who goes there. Listen, we don't do takeout orders on the weekends, and there's a wait time. But yes, you're a food reviewer. Any celebrity comes in there, they're going to take that out of there. Even when me and Busy did our thing, they gave us a time to come, so we came at that time. We were on time when we came there, so that made sense to me. Nothing bad really happened besides, and I feel like, well, my family came as regular customers. Well, they're probably not going to get in because I don't know who the people are. We close at this time. That's what it is. But Keith is here. He apparently someone asked him to come there. Yeah. So then I mean, it's confusing to me.
So that, like, somebody asked him to come, and this wasn't like, this was like the first day into this food tour. He already been a couple days in. So if y'all asking him to come, then y'all already know what the situation is and how he operates. So that should have been a situation to explain him, you know, not just to him when he finally came in there, because that's when, you know, we don't do takeout orders on, you know, this time, and, you know, the rules that they already have. Is that not explained? Was, to me, that's something
I think that should be a two-way street, though.
Yeah. Was it not explained to the people who are coming in just like regular, not celebrity, not an influencer, don't have a following? Is that explained to the people who are coming in that, you know, this is why we have this wait time, this is why we can't do that? And then going to Candy's response, she gave 2 responses. And I don't know if I have the extended one, but there was a point where she said she didn't want the, you know, the kitchen to be overworked. And it's just like, Candy, you have, when it comes to your restaurant, you have the opportunity to have different sectors of the kitchen doing different things, like being able to hire the staff to do so. So if you don't want to do takeout orders on, you know, the weekends because you don't have the people to do that, you can just have a part of the kitchen that does specifically that.
Well, I feel like that's why she has 2 locations, so that this main one, like the first one, is not overwhelmed with customers. Because
but does the second location, and my question is, have you been to the second location, and do they have the same rules as the main?
I think they had the same rules, but I think they don't really have to have them, though, because it's an East Point. So most people, because most people that come to Atlanta, they are in Midtown, downtown. So those rules are probably different than East Point because people who are visiting are not staying way out of East Point.
Yeah.
So that would make sense, you know what I'm saying? Because they're maybe I don't know what the rules are in East Point, to be honest. But for me, this makes sense. Living here, it makes sense.
Okay. So let's play her first response, and then I'll play the second response.
Hey guys, what's up? It's your girl Candy, and I'm about to speak on it. No, I'm joking. I'm not about to speak on it. I really just wanted to say I do appreciate Keith Lee for stopping by our restaurant and trying to show us love. It is very unfortunate that we couldn't serve him and his family. We would have loved to, okay? But he's right. We don't take to-go orders on the weekends, and the simple reason is because we do love and appreciate the people who come and support our restaurant. On the weekends, we get a lot of community support, people in our city that show up for us, as well as a lot of people from out of town. So with that being said, we don't want to overwhelm our kitchen by having to, you know, have such long times for the people who are actually at the restaurant, plus having to do to-go orders, because obviously that would make the wait times even longer. So that's the reason for that. For those of you, I saw a couple of people was like, why wouldn't they take to-go orders? Well, that's why. Anyway, with that, outside of that, I want to say thanks to Keith for trying to even show up to our restaurant and show us love. Thanks for trying to bring your family by. And maybe next time we'll still get a chance to serve you. Okay?
So, this is Mace's comment. Candy is just truly glazed over the part where she shows favoritism to people of status, and I think that was that gentleman's main concern. Well, we're going to see the second response because BravoCon is this weekend. They out in Vegas. I wonder if I don't know if Keith is back in Vegas or not, so I don't know if they would have an interaction, but who knows? Anything can happen. She's out in Vegas, and someone asked her as they were doing press for BravoCon, about this situation. If they asked about it on that stage, I don't know.
Honest with you, I think people need to understand that Keith Lee, I'm a fan of his page too. I watch, right? And we know that he can help make or break a restaurant. And right now, it's like a time where all the restaurants aren't doing that great, right? So anybody would want him to be there. And I just feel like at the end of the day, well, first of all, I didn't tell her to show him no favoritism because I like you. I know that he doesn't like that. But, our host, she said that it was because she checked the people off with us and that's what happened. But even if it wasn't, I think he needs to understand that people want to show him love. And it's not that we don't love our customers, but if we let one celebrity or one influencer go early, it doesn't hurt the rest of our customers because he's taking pictures, he's doing stuff, and a lot of them are happy that he's there. But if he doesn't eat at our restaurant, it does hurt us because all the business they had the opportunity to show them how great they was, and they had lines wrapped around the building. We don't get.
So, I'm gonna say this to that effect. Yes, you missed the opportunity to have lines wrapped around the building, even though y'all already have that. Y'all already have that. But here's what I think she's missing about this whole thing. There have been places that he's went where it was like, oh yeah, the great customer service. That's just one aspect of this. He also has to try the food. And he's very honest about his thoughts on the food. But he also tells you these are my taste buds. And Candy. Some people have better experiences. Deb, you've had a good experience there with the food. I believe you said. Was it a good, okay?
What'd you say?
With the food. Because I was like, there's something she also missed. Even if you just want to show him love, even though he just wants to be treated like a regular person when he's coming in there. Seat me like everybody else. I don't want no VIP table. I just want to be, don't give me no free food. Because that's another thing he does not like. Like, don't give me free food.
Oh, yeah. She wasn't going to give him free food anyway.
But other places have tried to give him like tons of free food, and he's like, don't give me free food. I want to pay for this because you taking money out of your pocket that could be put other places. Like this could be put for marketing or different things like that. I think Candy's missing. Well, first of all, you already have lines wrapped around the corner. Like you don't have that issue. Other places may have that issue, but because you have the status that you do, and nobody's hating on her or anything, but because she has the status that she does, people gonna show up. People from out of town gonna show up. So that's not that's not an issue for you. I think the part where she's forgetting is the food. Like he's going to try the food, and he's not going to lie about it.
But he turned down the food.
No, he didn't turn. Like that's the thing. He didn't turn down food. Like he turned down the table, and it was like, we'll just go somewhere else because we all want. Like he had his people with him, so I'm not just gonna be the only person eating. Everybody.
Well, no, they were going to see all of them when he came in, but he was like, "No, we're going to eat somewhere else," because he didn't like the fact that his family came in and they couldn't get in. But it wasn't something where it was like, "Oh no, we're closed," because we don't feel like it. It was like, "No, this is our normal protocol on the weekends." So, I mean, to me, he should have figured out what the hours of the restaurant was and how a restaurant works before going, because now what it looks like is, oh well, unless you're a person of status, you can't come here. That's what it seems like to me.
But that to you, but to me, that's not what it seems like. I just think it's just like the wait times are astronomical, and maybe reservations are something that should be like done, because if the app like the wait time is like an hour to hour and 15, then that should be something like, maybe you hire someone to, like, Chick-fil-A does when you're going through the drive and the people are taking the orders, like they actually stand in the drive-through and they're taking the orders and they're trying to get it out to you. Or like I've been like when we've gone to Culver's, they'll be like, okay, take your order, long line, you park over here, we'll bring the food out to you as quickly as possible. And most of the time the food gets brought out very quick, fast, in a hurry, and it's still hot. I think, but my mindset is, my thought was, even if he would have sat down with his family and ordered food, he still would have. But that's the thing, he wasn't really trying to like sit down, like it was trying to like get an order to go. But even if, okay, say he sat down and had the food, he still has to give his review on the food. So there still would have been a problem about his thoughts on the food from the fans of Candy and the people. Like, well, what do you know? You don't know anything about food. And it's just like, from what I've heard and what I've heard from my family members and other people, OLG food is really hit or miss sometimes.
Well, just put that. She said, even Chandrika said on Candy in the Game that the food isn't consistent. And when me and Busy went, she was like, it was the macaroni and cheese. I think Melvin was in the kitchen that day, and she was like, Melvin's here, so it's gonna be good. I just think that, again, everybody who cook food don't cook food the same. You know what I'm saying? So when one chef is there, yes, the food is going to be good. But if he's not there and the second chef in charge don't make it as good, it's going to taste different. So that makes sense, though.
Yeah. So that's
I think the main picture of this for me is this. To me, if you didn't go in and like if you didn't find out, when the restaurant was open, did you need to make a reservation on the weekends or whatever? Why would you pop up there and then give a review on something that you didn't even find out, the protocol of the restaurant? And yes, in most places, they don't have the rules that Atlanta does have here, because a lot of restaurants that Candy have, a lot of restaurants in Atlanta have the same rules as Candy have. We just read the rude ass rules that this place has.
Oh my God.
Honey place. But there's a lot of restaurants who do have that, because on the weekends, we outside a lot of times. And then we have visitors come from everywhere. We have one of the biggest airports in the United States. So it's a visitor's attraction. So it does become a space where you do have to hey, listen, on the weekends, please do this so we can accommodate you in the correct way. If you're going to do that, and that's how we know he's not a food critic, because one, a food critic would have known all these things and been able to come in at a time where they could come in and send his family in and see how they were treated before he came in there. But that didn't happen, and we learned that through the video that was made, because he came in a time that he couldn't get in. And when he came, because they had been asking for him to come, they had space for him because of that. And even I think some Mace was saying some people of certain status. Me and Busy didn't have a certain type of status. Candy was just grateful that we were reviewing the show, and she gave us the treatment that she gave the celebrities for real. We got the food that we got. It was great. We went out to Friday Night Vibe. We had a great time, like everything. A lot of the cast from Candy Gang was there. We met like a lot of other celebrities from Shamia to the guy from the Central Park 5, Delicious. We met a lot of people there as well. But she made that happen because she knew we were coming. So it's going to be different treatment because he's a person of a certain status, and that his review can make or break you. But in real time, can they give everybody that treatment? Probably not.
But I think that's the thing about it. I don't want you to give me preferential treatment. I don't even want you to give people preferential treatment. Just treat people like they come into your establishment to spend some money and eat food. And really, when it comes down to it, yes, he should have, maybe check the times and, what the wait thing is like. But also, y'all in Atlanta, as we are working through this and talking about this, y'all have to do better. I heard y'all had to have a town hall meeting for
That's
them
very true.
restaurants. I heard y'all had to have a town hall meeting for them restaurants because some of y'all got astronomical business out the behind, out the wazoo. One lady was like, she was struggling on not only getting her restaurant off the ground, but keeping it open. And because he came there, like, was giving great customer service, not because he went in himself, but he sent his family in, and it was like the customer service was amazing, but also the food was great, and he gave a true, honest review about the food. Now that lady is doing great business from the people that I've seen, or like him just doing updates in the restaurants in Vegas. One woman, one restaurant, he was like, I just want to give, $1,000 to, like, the people working here, and even some customers. And she was like, you don't have to do that. He was like, nah, I want to do it. And she was like, but I want to just thank you, because based off your review, we are going from just having this one place to starting to go into meetings to get the second location. Some people have said, listen, I like Keith Lee, but sometimes he get on my nerves, because my little hole in the wall spot that he didn't review, now I got to get there quick, fast, in a hurry before the line wrap around the building. But they're also appreciative because now money is being circulated into these neighborhoods and these communities that were probably very much underserved. You have people coming from out of state to come try this food. They are getting the shine that they probably never would have gotten because maybe they're a Black-owned restaurant, maybe they're a Latin-owned restaurant, maybe they're an Asian-owned restaurant, and people weren't checking for them because if you were going to like certain cities like Vegas, DC, Chicago, Detroit, LA, Atlanta, maybe you're not focusing on these places because you're going to the places that are very much advertised as like touristy, and that's the people eat there most of the time, so you're going to always find a review about it on different social media platforms. I appreciate him giving an honest opinion about everything.
But let me ask you this though. So remember the guy with the truck, with the chicken truck, right? He went on and on. Oh, this man is in this truck by himself. Give him some time. Like he made excuses for the man because the food was good, right?
Yeah.
But then the overload, and because maybe he doesn't live here, he doesn't understand what it's like on a weekend for a restaurant with high capacity, what it's like. He didn't give that same grace to OLG, because had he done that, like he would have came in and sat down and said, okay, you know what? That makes sense. So you know what? I'll come in with my family. We're going to eat, and, take some food, whatever. To me, he gives grace to people's businesses who are not really like that big or whatever. But when it's a bigger company, he expects a lot more. But you have to think about where you're visiting. Like Detroit, probably you can probably review those places because it's not a high traffic place. DC, although there's a lot of people there, they're prepared for big places like this. OLG is not that big. It's really not. So when you go into OLG and they have these rules because they want to make sure that everybody who's there and make reservations can eat on the weekends, that they can be there. It was no kind of grace for that. But so you're giving grace to the smaller companies, but not the bigger companies. And again, we can go back to the Real Milk and Honey. They were just rude. And I feel like he gave the same
Flat
energy.
out, straight up.
Huh?
Flat out, straight up. Mace says the service and the food should be consistent at all times in order to really say you have a good established.
But you have to realize that Melvin been in and out of jail. So
the
food might not be consistent with Melvin because he hasn't been here all the time.
But I'll say this when it comes down to
Melvin deserves the day off as well, but go ahead.
Then we're going to move away from OLG because we got to get rest through the rest. I'll say this. If you have an issue with your employee, even though he's family, your employee being in and out of incarceration, and he's the chef at your restaurant, like the flagship one, that when he's there, the food is great. Maybe it's time to go back to the drawing board and actually start seeing what chefs you can hire that are not only going to keep the food consistent, the staffing, if you're understaffed on weekends, it's time to really try to get a full staff in there on weekends. And I'll also say this, looking at the Google reviews, not based off the reviews that the people was just given as of recently after Keith went there. I'm talking about we're going back a year, 2 years, 8 months, 9 months. A lot of what the people have to say is food's not consistent. The wait staff is not doing their job. Like, we've waited 30 minutes for someone to come wait on us, and they told us we were understaffed, but the 2 waitresses who were there were at a table flirting with a customer and taking shots with the customer. And when we were when we asked about that or made a complaint about that, it was very much brushed off. So in the grand scheme of things, whether or not Keith Lee had anything to say about the restaurant or went there, it's obviously there's a problem at OLG, especially the flagship restaurant, and it's time for y'all to do
see, that makes more sense to me.
Yeah,
a review from that point of view, that makes more sense to me than the one that he left. If that's what people experienced when they were there as a regular customer, then I can ride with that, because if that's what's happening, that's what happened. And I read this. Melvin, the only person in the ATL that can make macaroni and cheese. No, but I think the recipe they have for macaroni and cheese is Melvin's recipe. So Melvin's recipe is what they use at the restaurant. And I think that maybe Melvin should do a better job with teaching the second chef on point, or whatever it's called, to making it the way he makes it. Because even when we had it, Chandrika sat next to me and Busy and was like, "What y'all think?" And I was like, "Okay, yes, I can get with this." And she was like, "Okay, good, because it'd be on off." She did say that. She said on the show, and she said to me and Busy when we're there, she's like, "It'd be off." So I'm not arguing that point, because Chandrika has definitely been honest about it.
I agree with this because my mom used to force us to watch that show. Did we not see Sweetie Pie's how Miss Robbie wanted the food to taste the same, so she trained those chefs? And that's the thing I feel like, once again,
that's what I just said too about Melvin. Like, he should train the second chef better.
Like you need to train your sous chefs. If you're not going to be there, your sous chef.
Sous chef, yeah, that's the word.
Yeah, sous chef. And if you don't have a sous chef in there, y'all need to have someone that when Melvin is incarcerated, at whatever time he gonna be there.
Yeah.
Okay. It's the food restaurant, the prison pipeline. Lord have mercy, help us all. If Melvin not gonna be there, y'all need to have someone that's consistent. And because Melvin can't stay consistent because he's in and out of, what's the word I'm looking for?
He wasn't incarcerated, then he got shot too, right?
I don't know them like that.
That was on this. That was on. That's what Marlon was arguing about on last.
That
season.
Was Melvin.
Yeah, that was Melvin.
Child, Melvin, Melvin. I don't know, Melvin. Maybe you just need to be training the people and writing down your recipes and saying this how much I put in there. Like, Melvin, you two are part of the Big Bag community. I am too, and I know we shake until the ancestors tell us to stop shaking the seasoning. But you won't have to train them people, because. And my final thing is, if the man would have sat down and ate the food, he still would have had to give the review, and y'all probably wouldn't have liked the review he gave. And it would have been an excuse of, well, Melvin isn't here today. And it's just like, well, that can't be an excuse for every single time somebody comes in there that Melvin's not here today, so the food's not good.
I agree.
That definitely can't be it. But let's go ahead and get into, Chad Ocho No, and, his words, because... But before we get into that, let's see. Exactly, Mason. We're discussing a person with the resources to address any shortcomings in customer service, especially if you're going to open multiple locations. So that's the thing about it. The Milk and Honey in ATL, not the regular The Milk and Honey, who were receiving, bad reviews because people once again wasn't listening to the point where it was stretched. The real, not just Milk and Honey, the real Milk and Honey. The regular Milk and Honey, they have multiple locations, and based off the reviews for that place, not the fake ones, the real ones, they have multiple locations around Georgia. Me looking at it, the people say the food is consistent, and I think they have about 4 locations. They say the food is consistent, the customer service is consistent, like the environment is great. So it's just like,
I'm gonna have to go there.
You gonna have to try it and then tell us.
You know what? Because me and my coworkers been traveling on the weekends. Can we be outside? Next weekend I'm gonna go.
Okay, try
and
it.
Then we can come back and we can talk about it.
Okay. I think OLG got all the grace they need. They've been open for too long to not have worked out these kinks. This is true.
I'm telling y'all have to realize the traffic on the weekends here in Atlanta. It's not.
I'm not talking about the weekends. I think what she's hitting on is just like not the weekends, just like regular. Because once again, some of the reviews that I'm seeing on like Yelp and Google, these people aren't going on the weekends. They're going during the week.
Okay, got you.
And it's just like, well.
Oh, you talking about the review that you read? Yes. Okay. I'm here with you.
Yeah, come on now. If we going through the week, not the weekend. Weekend, y'all got to work out them kinks yourselves. But during the week, and it's a mess like this. Yeah. Oh, you got Candy has the resources to come in and do a complete overhaul. Maybe you've left people in charge of certain things that don't need to be in charge of certain things because they don't have the training to do so. Maybe you don't spend a lot of time here, but it's time for you to start spending more time in here, because if you want this to be a mainstay and you want this to stay open, not just because word of mouth or the people like you, you're going to have to do better. Just like all the other restaurants, just like the restaurants that got great reviews from Keith Lee, even though y'all had a great review and people are coming in, y'all have to keep that up. You can't slack. Your food can't slack. You can't slack. For the people who didn't, this time for y'all to really step it up and do better.
But let me ask you a question now. Since we're here and you just said that rang a bell for me. McDonald's don't taste the same it tasted when it first started to taste now.
I got food poisoning from them, so I don't.
But I'm saying in the beginning, McDonald's did not. It tastes a lot differently.
They weren't franchised.
Huh?
They weren't franchised.
Right. And candy's not either. So I think that's another thing to take into consideration about that. I'm really not trying to fight a battle for candy, and I know it feels that way. But I just feel like I understood the real milk and honey. I understand what Ocho Cinco was saying as well that we're about to watch. I just think with this one review, they didn't eat there. They came in for a regular experience. And the regular experience is, man, we can't take orders right here, and there's no reservation. We're closed. And that's what he should have said to me, because that's the regular rules. If you want to be treated as a regular person, that's what you got treated as. And I feel like that's what he should have said, basically. Hey, I'll go back when it's on the regular time, make my reservation, and then I will review the restaurant, because that's a real review.
My thing with Ocho, because I've listened to it, we don't let the people listen.
Let's listen to it together, and then because I didn't see the whole thing, I sent it to you. I didn't get to hear it.
Okay, so I'm gonna play it, and then I'm gonna play his response.
Matter of fact, you know what? I'm finna follow up. I'm going to be a motherfucking food critic in Atlanta. I'm going to be a food critic. I'm finna go to I'm going to every restaurant in Atlanta, and I'm leaving a $5,000 tip. And I'm gonna tell them these motherfucking restaurants was perfect, and the service was phenomenal. Just to overshadow that fucking shit, bullshit. Talk about restaurants.
You do realize a food critic, they go all around the United States. They just
Gordon Ramsay is the only food critic I know.
Ocho, you see?
That's what he does.
Now you're doing what athletes do.
That's what he does.
What's your criteria? Hold on.
That's what he does.
Great. But here's the thing, Ocho. You can't say because someone doesn't have a culinary background.
So what makes you a goddamn food critic? Oh, because you have a platform? Because you got social media? So now you attach a name to yourself. Now
everybody is not a classical. Everybody is not a Michelin star chef. Everybody is not a 5-star chef. And that's
what qualifies you to be a food critic where everybody in the world has to listen to what you have to say about?
They don't have to. They don't have to. He ain't forced nobody to listen to his TikTok. He ain't forced nobody to listen to what he got to say. He said, go try it for yourself. He said, that's his experience. You might have a totally different experience, Ocho.
You know what? If you have a large platform of that magnitude, you shouldn't be saying nothing bad. You should be praising all motherfucking restaurants.
Nah, hell no. No, you and I going to disagree with that one. Just because I got a platform, that don't mean
all our restaurants to help their motherfucking business.
Ocho. My thing is,
I'm telling you how I am.
Yeah.
I have nothing against what he's doing. I'm just telling you.
Yes, you do. You just said it's bullshit. What you mean you think
it's bullshit. It's bullshit.
You just said you didn't have anything against it. What he's doing. So hold on. Time out.
That's how I feel.
Either I'm losing my damn mind or I'm done. You
That's
just said you didn't have a problem with what he did. Then you turn around and said it's bullshit.
Because I'm looking at the long.
So you got a problem.
I'm looking at the long-term effects of how this.
Do you have a problem with what he did? Yes or no?
Yeah, I don't.
Okay, thank you. That's all you had to say to begin with. That's all I want to get you to say.
I don't like it. And anybody else, and if anybody in the chat like what's going on.
So basically, his thing is,
I ain't with him.
Ain't nobody. That's the thing about it. For the people who are with him, I need y'all to go back to school. And when I say go back to school, I don't mean like you go back to high school or college. No, you're gonna start all the way over from preschool.
And get on the little bus.
Because when it comes down to it, he feels like, and that's the thing where the excuses come in. It's a Black-owned restaurant, so you should automatically give them high praises and you give them great tips, no matter what the food is like, no matter what the customers. Hell no. Let me explain something to you, because I'm about to rant real quick. Let me explain something to you.
Well, wait. Sheree said, hell to the no.
Yes. Let me explain something to you. Hold on. With that logic, this is how I feel about that logic. This is how I feel about Ocho's logic. Where it at? It's better be in here. Boom.
Trash, filth, trash, garbage, dumpster, trash. Trash, filth, trash, garbage, dumpster, trash.
That's how I feel about your logic, sir. Okay?
Listen, I don't think he knew how to articulate what he was trying to say. But to me, what I heard, because I have to take out the filth and like hear what he was saying, was if you're going to help a Black business, help them. And if you don't like it, just don't say anything. That's what he could have said. Because then that would have made more sense to me versus we got to support all of them. We don't. That's not in the book of being Black. We have to support everybody that's Black. It's not.
Listen, y'all want me to be a nice person. Y'all want me to support all people. Y'all just listen, I never claim to be nice and I never claim to support everybody because some of these bitches is dumb. Okay, and some of these restaurants are terrible. I'm not going to support every single restaurant because every single restaurant is not going to be the same. They're not going to be consistent with customer service. They're not going to be consistent with food. And the food in itself may just be nasty. Meaning you probably shouldn't have opened this place. And you probably, there are some places that it's me and my aunt. She'd be like, I want to try this. I want to try this food place. I'd be like, okay, I'm down for whatever. And she didn't try it. She was like, I didn't like it. It messed up my stomach. We not eating here no more. I'd be like, okay, fine. Or there are places where I was like, I don't like this. I don't want to go back. She says, fine. If your food isn't, listen, my mama cooks. My mama is getting into catering. And there have been times where she's cooked for certain restaurants that if we go up there and get food, my auntie would call her and be like, I didn't like this. This wasn't consistent. Or I'll call my mom and be like, I don't know what's going on with your cabbage this time around, but this is spicy. And when I say spicy, I don't mean like, ooh, this is spicy, this is good. I mean, this is spicy as all get out. Please don't do that no more. Please don't do that no more. But that's my mama. I can say that to her. That's family. When it comes to these restaurants, Ocho, no, because that's what you are over here, a no. You can't support all of them, and you can't just be like, oh, well, you have to give everyone good reviews, because then you're lying. And then people can't trust your word. If I say, ooh, this place, okay, they don't have this particular location close to my house anymore. It burned down and they decided not to rebuild. But we have, Kansas City is known for barbecue. One of the places around here that, people really go up for barbecue is called.
Backstage.
No.
Take it down. Thank you. I just want to put that up there.
Okay. It's Gates. It's Gates Barbecue. And Gates, depending on what time you order from them or what's going on with the kitchen, or if they had to fire the people and hire new people, it's never consistent. My aunt who barbecues, and people who know who have seen her get down on a grill, because I've shown them like how she cooks her steaks and how she does her ribs. She knows barbecue, and she's like, yeah, I'm not ordering from here anymore because they're giving me old barbecue that's just been sitting all day, and they've been slapping like sauce on it to hide the fact that this ain't right. Now that was that location close to the house. Now other locations, when you really get deep into the city, because really Kansas City and Kansas City, Kansas, you got Missouri and Kansas, we share a city. It's just a hop, skip, and a jump from our house. Other places have same restaurant, better food. That one wasn't consistent, so it put a stain on the others. But then when you try the other places, it's like, okay, it's this one. That location, not here no more. So when it comes down to it, we couldn't support that one, but we're going to go over here close to, this part of the city, and we're going to get it from this place. That's if the places have multiple locations. If you just a place with one location and your food isn't good, it's nasty, you giving people like food that's just been sitting because you're trying to get rid of it because you don't want to make new stuff, then you need to be told that. Some of these franchise places that are, just because it's a McDonald's does not mean it is completely and solely owned by McDonald's. What people don't realize is a lot of these, first of all, boycott them. That's
But the food tastes the same across the board.
The food tastes the same across the board because it's like, that's not fresh. Like, it's not fresh. It's frozen.
So the customer service part, I get what you're saying, but the food tastes the same across the board.
Yeah, for them,
food has not been tasting the same for a very long time.
Yeah, it has not been tasting the same for a very long time, and we know why. But a lot of these franchise places that are like big names, like coffee shops and fast food places, the reason why they can pop up in your neighborhood and do what they do is not because these corporations have decided, I want to put a location there. It's because you have people buying into them and deciding, I'm going to put this here because I know I could probably make money off of this, because this is in the heart of the neighborhood and people are going to come here for food. Or you have businesses around that, well, they're going to have to go to lunch. So you're trying to get a monopoly on the business. Like my high school, we have Mad Jack's, which is if y'all come to Kansas City, Kansas, baby, y'all got to go get the fish. A1. There's some good fish. You have Mad Jack's, which is just like, a fish place. They have, I want to say, 2 locations, one close to my house and one on the Missouri side. Then you have a grocery store, and the rest is fast food restaurants. Pizza Hut, Burger King, Wendy's, McDonald's, Taco Bell. Let me explain how this goes. You have the Wendy's. Next to the Wendy's is Taco Bell. And next to the Taco Bell is McDonald's. And then across the street from the Wendy's, Burger King, and next door, it used to be a KFC, is a Pizza Hut. And they have them, like, they built it all right here because not only is it an underserved community that doesn't have that many mom and pop shop restaurants anymore, also you are by a school. So if you're at multiple schools at that, so if the people are able to come off campus, they're going to come get food here. You also have an H&R Block that's right next to the McDonald's. So people are going to come off their lunch breaks and get something quick, fast, and easy. Food consistent because we know how y'all cook that food. It's frozen, not fresh, allegedly. But also, when it comes down to it, back to the Ocho thing. If the food's not great, then
we don't have to support it.
We don't have to support it. When it came down to what's going on in the world today, and people was like, well, these places are giving money to here and y'all need to boycott. I was like, first of all, I don't even eat at McDonald's no more because the last 2 times I had it, one time I felt really sluggish after eating it. And my day was just completely ruined. Like, I felt awful. And the last time I got food poisoning. Now, because it was ordered on DoorDash, I'm not sure which location it was from, but y'all can count y'all days.
You know what I hate about DoorDash too, by the way, since we're talking about them order on McDonald's on there? When I want a vanilla milkshake, why you don't tell me that machine is down?
And for the people,
I've tried to order a milkshake 3 times last week, and I haven't got one time.
Oh, you want to know why?
Because the machines is always down.
No, the machines aren't down.
They won't clean them.
99.999% of the times that the machines are like they say the machines are down is because they don't want to clean it, or they just don't want to make it. And I learned that from a girl who was a manager of a McDonald's when we were in college.
I used to work at McDonald's, so I know.
Yeah, so the McDonald's that was like in the town for the college people, that's there, and for everybody else who lived, and she was like, "Child, we don't want to clean it, or we just don't want to make it." So there's that. But
can I pull up this video real quick?
Which one?
I want to show you the Beyonce thing. It's all be on mute because there's music on it, so I'm gonna leave it on mute. But I want y'all to see this. It's in New Orleans. Can I pull it up?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, I'm about to share it. Can you see it?
Yeah, I can.
I can't see. Okay. Wait, why is it behind us?
Because I'm in the front. Hold on. So I'm gonna just have it.
Okay. So y'all, this is the review that I did leave for this. Hold on. I want to read it real quick, and then I want y'all to see this. So it says, listen, if you are visiting New Orleans and you love Beyonce, a good vibe, great service, amazing food, great drinks, or all the above, you have to go to @BSpotNola. Make sure you guys follow this Instagram as well. This was an experience I will never forget. Chef B came out and talked and laughed with us. Our server, Raquel with the K, was nothing but perfection. Ask for her when y'all go, and make sure you ask for the one with the K because it's one with a Q too. LOL. We even met Chef B's mom, who I could swear was her sister. 10 across the board. So I want to show you guys this video of what good customer service looked like, okay, and what good food looked like. So this is like when you walk in. That's a soda.
Oh, this is cute.
Yes.
I like it.
That's the bar.
That's custom. You just can't get that anywhere.
This is all when you walk in.
I like the atmosphere already.
Yes, that's me with my shirt on. I go from New Orleans.
Oh, I've seen this, and I want to know why you was down to New Orleans, and I ain't hearing nothing about it.
I'm gonna tell you in a minute. So they gave you 4 mimosas. You got 4 different things to mix with it. So I mixed it. This is when I mixed, so you guys can see it. This is my shrimp and grits. My other friend got oxtails and grits.
Better than Nola's.
That now she was dancing her ass off to Beyonce. It's New Orleans. They do that. That's my wait, Raquel. This is her mom. That's me and the chef. And then the next one's me and our server, Raquel.
Mm-hmm.
That's I 10 things off the board, and that's the address. So I'm gonna push pause. So I want you guys to see what really good customer service be looking like for real. And when people leave reviews, what it look like. This place, y'all, was amazing. And I don't do no reviews. And also, if you give them a review while you're there, they give you shots at the end.
Ooh.
The free shots. So I just wanted to do that because I'm not a food critic. And my critique ain't gonna do nothing for the business. But if y'all do go. Huh?
It's gonna make me want to go.
Well, I'm just saying, I don't have the same as Keith has, but I'm just saying, if y'all go to New Orleans, y'all have to stop by this place. Follow that Instagram account. It's at BSpotNola. Y'all support them. That is a Black woman. She has, and her family works there with her. Her mom, her cousins, everybody worked there with her, and it's amazing. Like the experience is uncomparable.
Yes, we love the ambiance. We love good customer service. Hold on,
because I wanted to make sure I showed you guys that because I love that place.
Let me throw that back up there.
Because of Beyonce, it was because of the experience that I did have.
Which, that's the thing. The experience is great. Ocho, let me explain something to you. As I'm trying to get back to the regular setting.
When you look at the reviews, I want to comment what May said. She said, "I bet the food is the same every day." When you look at the reviews, it says that 10s across the board. Okay, real talk. And even if the chef B, she would come out and ask about it. Like, how did you feel about it? And she does it all the time.
And I bet you she takes constructive criticism.
She actually does.
May says, but we have to call out Black businesses who have crappy service, especially. Yes, I don't listen. If and I do that even like from YouTube videos. Mother Feisty, First Lady Feisty, will be like, I don't want to tell you what to do with your stuff because I don't want to feel like I'm trying to. No, give me constructive criticism. What people don't understand is whatever I go into, just speaking on me doing stuff, I'm harder on myself than you would think you could be hard on me when it comes to things. I'm way harder on myself, and I had to be told in college, you're too hard on yourself about stuff. And it's just like, no, I know this. It's probably not going to change because I strive for perfection. And if I can't get it, I'm a little upset. So I would hope when it comes down to businesses that thrive off of customer service, because that's what a food industry business thrives off of, food and customer service, that you would do the best you could.
Right.
Be damn near perfect, because things could it could be like a bad situation. Now, if you once again, if your food is nasty and you have terrible customer service, you gonna hear my mouth, and it's not gonna be anything nice. Keith Lee is nicer than me, because some of these places that he ate at that the food wasn't great, I really would have said, I'm not eating this poison. And I've said it to people's faces.
Can you pull up Too Feisty's last comment too?
Darius Cooks? Oh, he's disrespectful. Y'all send it. He's disrespectful.
Very much.
The things y'all said to keep, not the people who are.
And I heard his food ain't even that good.
No, and allegedly. And I saw him with the blood bag still attached to him making food. I said that's unsanitary. He's very disrespectful.
I gotta go.
Okay.
But I so enjoyed this, y'all. Y'all support the B Spot. And I'll be in the comments because I'm about to get ready because I gotta go out. But I'll still be in the comments.
Ooh. Okay. Listen,
I'm outside. It's the weekend.
Yes. Darius is very disrespectful, but thank you for coming up. Darius.
Absolutely. I stay home on purpose for you.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate it. Listen,
I love you, cousin. I love you, cousin.
Thank you. Love you too. Y'all go
Bye,
support Deb. First Lady Feisty, for the people who are in here who haven't subscribed to Deb, can you go ahead and put his link in the chat, please? Go ahead and put his link in the chat. So check this out. Darius is very disrespectful for what his food reviews. He don't get nobody no breaks on anything. Also, I don't agree with Chad and just placating the people. Be honest with them, because when you are told something and when you are giving honest truth, when you know better, you will do better. Chad Ocho, no. I agree with Shannon Sharp. No, ma'am. No, ma'am. We're not doing that. We're not just giving $5,000 to people as tips because that's, just because. And I'm just going to say that the service was great, even though it wasn't. You're lying. And then people are going to call you. Yes, Macy's. Yes, thank you. People are going to tell you you're lying, and people are going to have an issue with it, because I too would have an issue. If you told me word of mouth that this was a good place to eat and it's not, and I was treated horribly, I'm going to have a problem with you. I'm going to have a big problem with you. Because now I'm just I'm out of money and you done wasted my time. But this was Keith Lee's response to Chad Ocho. No.
Okay, but I don't like the fact of what he's doing.
Ocho,
I don't like the critiquing of our restaurants and having people and talking bad about our goddamn businesses and Ocho, how hard it is,
and I get it, Ocho,
for us to even get in the food industry and to have our own restaurant. And so, what are we doing?
Let's talk about it. First, I want to say God bless you, and I respect your opinion. Your opinion is just as valuable as the next person's opinion. But I do agree with you. It is hard to open a restaurant. It is hard to get the funding. It is hard to have people come in. I agree. And I'm blessed enough to be a marketing platform for those restaurants, completely free. To me, it seems like you have no idea who I am. And again, that's okay with me. The main point was my qualifications. I'll be honest with you. I've been a professional fighter for almost 10 years. I've traveled the world eating food. I've cut weight from anywhere from 170 pounds to 135 pounds. And food is one of the most important things when it comes to cutting weight. So at the end of the day, I'm just a foodie. I agree with you. I've been blessed enough to be in this position. But then in return, I want to ask you, what are your qualifications to have this firm stance on this topic? Because to me, this seems like your first time ever seeing me. And if it's not, again, I have another question. Why is this your first time speaking on me? We've been blessed enough to raise over $40,000 for a restaurant owner who has cancer. We've been blessed enough to be used as a vessel to retire a teacher in less than 24 hours. We've been blessed enough to be a part of keeping multiple restaurants doors open. And all of this within the span of 10 months. I want to be very clear. That question isn't to say you or anybody else should know who I am. I simply ask, if this isn't your first time seeing me, what stopped you from talking about the positive things we've been able to do? Specifically to the community that you are worried about us negatively affecting. And to your point, that's without any formal qualifications. And let's be honest, I think one of the main reasons of why we're here is because I'm relatable. I'm a customer like everybody else. I pay for my food like everybody else. I don't take anything from these restaurants. No matter how much business comes from any post I make, I don't take any money. If I was to go to school and get all of the qualifications and start talking in big words that not a lot of people understand, would they still come out and wait in 4-hour lines? I don't believe so. I'm a normal person just like you. So again, you are completely entitled to your opinion, and so am I. And my opinion is that you should have done a lot more research before you made this firm stance, especially on a platform like yours. I don't go anywhere and just give my unsolicited opinion. And you said I should only get positive reviews. The reason I don't believe that it worked because it'd be inauthentic. And hypothetically, if I was to be inauthentic and you waited in a 3-hour wait time and you got to the front and the food was trash, who you gonna be mad at? The restaurant owner or me? Those 600 people who waited in line, they're gonna all make videos and say I'm a fraud. Say I lied. And that 4-hour line only gonna be there at one time because everybody gonna say the food is trash. Simply just to spite me, not even a restaurant themselves. But if it's a restaurant where the people really put their time and their effort into, that 4-hour wait time is gonna be 4 hours the next day, and the next day, and the next day. God willingly, of course. Again, I'm gonna be very clear. I think you are completely entitled to your opinion, just like I am. 99% of my videos have ended very positively.
Charge my car for $26.73. That's what she said she made when sales today.
Instead of crying, you need to rejoice.
Their total sales was $2,200 for the day.
Charge me $24. I appreciate you.
Oh no, baby. I didn't realize there was copyrighted music in there. But basically, he just let it know that, whether I have the I may not have the qualifications that you're looking for as in a Gordon Ramsay. And let's be clear on something. I don't understand why, I like Gordon Ramsay too, but I'm not a person who's going to understand why Gordon's opinion on food is more acceptable to the community rather than a person who looks like you, who probably came up just like you, why his opinion on food is just as acceptable. That makes no sense to me in a grand scheme of things, because Keith is doing it in a positive way. He not cussing nobody out. He is being open and honest. He is keeping it very consistent. He not cursing at nobody. He not getting upset with people or anything like that. Gordon is liable to cuss all y'all out. Gordon is liable, wondering why the wait times are so long in Atlanta, to go back into the kitchen and figure out what's going on and basically shut your shit down. Not because the people don't want to come. He just like, you got to shut this down before I call the health department or whoever I need to call on you. Gordon is liable to call the BBB, the Better Business Bureau, on you. So why is it that it's more acceptable for Gordon to say something to y'all, but it's not acceptable for Keith Lee to say something to y'all? Because y'all thought y'all were going to get the best review out of him, probably because he is a black man in America, and y'all feel like we all gotta work together. Yes, if you have working taste buds in your palate, your opinion is acceptable. That is so true. Listen, like I said, I'm very honest about how I feel about food. Okay, I don't eat to live. I live to eat. I'm here for a good time and a long time. And while I'm here for my time, I want to have good food. And if the food is nasty, I'm going to tell you I'm not eating that poison. Gordon was questioned about his credentials when he first started. He was constantly questioned or had to have his 2 failed restaurants thrown in his face. This is also true. When he does the shows like Kitchen Nightmares, Hotel Nightmares, people question him all the time. Well, what do you know about this? And what do you do? And what did... The man failed twice, but has been consistent. He keeps his kitchen consistent. One thing I can say about it, Gordon don't lack consistency. We've seen that on Hell's Kitchen. Let them try to play with his restaurant and his time. Y'all getting cussed out, and y'all probably gonna eat this nasty risotto while you at it. Consistency and great customer service. Now, Gordon may cuss out a customer a time or two, but that's because y'all signed up to be on this show for, to eat here when we got a show filming. Get out my face. But, you know, these are questions that need to be asked. Why is it acceptable for one person to say one thing, but it's not acceptable for another person to say another thing? But y'all also will throw stuff up in people's faces because y'all don't like their opinions on things. Darius Cooks is running around here giving y'all bad reviews to restaurants and saying your food is disgusting and saying all the being extra horrible to you, not giving you constructive criticism whatsoever, not telling people to come try the food just because I don't like it, you should come try it. He not doing none of that. Come on now. It is so crazy how black people and especially established black people withhold their opinion of a white chef in such a high regard that they are totally negate what someone that has looked like them has to say. Gordon always responded that how he knows I'm teaching you what I learned from my failures. Yeah, no, Gordon, you stay where you at, because I don't want you. But that's the thing, how I know what I'm doing is because I failed once before and I've come up out of it, or maybe I've failed twice before and I've come up out of it, and I know what I'm doing. And that Gordon is helping run restaurants. Like, he's helping y'all keep y'all restaurants consistent. Keith is just trying food and saying, you know, if he liked it or not, and being honest about it. And now people want to go try. And this is the thing about it. A lot of people in Atlanta were on TikTok, on Twitter, on Facebook, on Instagram, all the social media platforms out there saying, if I was skeptical about this man before he came to Atlanta, now I know he's the real deal, because we've all dealt with this before. The people in Atlanta, now the other people out there in the world is the ones who got an issue with Keith. But the people out there in Atlanta, oh no, baby, they said if we were skeptical about him before, no, we know he's the real deal, because you didn't come in here and lie about your experience with the food in Atlanta or the restaurants or anything else in Atlanta. You came and kept it consistent. You told the truth about it, because we've all dealt with it before.
Look, I just got robbed. These Atlanta restaurants are getting out of hand. So why I go to Toast on Lennox for a regular lunch, right? Just a regular lunch. It's just me. Feel me? It's just me. Mind you, it's just me. Okay. So I got honey butter biscuits right here. You see? $6 cash. Okay. We'll take that. Chicken and waffles, 19. We could take that. All right. 2 LITs. 60 cash for 2 LITs. Since when is a Long Island iced tea 30 cash? I've never, ever got a Long Island iced tea and it be more than $17. And I get LITs everywhere I go. Everywhere I go. And you feel me? I knew I was confident in the price that I'm used to paying, because I said, fuck it, let me get 2 of them. 60 cash was kept my emotions to myself, but I paid it. But I don't think I will ever be drinking in this establishment. Whenever I go to Toast on Lennox, from now on, I'm just getting water, mo, because, you feel me? And even the water is like 7 cash. These Atlanta restaurants are getting out of hand. I can't do it. I can't keep up with y'all, mo.
Now, I know I didn't hear that correct. I know he did not just say that even the water is $7. Baby, water should be free. That's water. Now, I heard one of these places charges $1 for butter. Child, very out of control. $30 for a Long Island iced tea? You getting 2? And it's not bottomless. It wasn't a mug. It wasn't a pitcher. It was just a regular glass of Long Island iced tea, $30. And he got 2. And it was $60 on top of the 18% they already add. And then if y'all saw in that receipt, they was like, you know, additional tip. We talked about the tips. Not everybody can tip what y'all want them to tip. Not everybody can tip the automatic 18%. And most people like tipping in cash because they want the money to go directly to the server. So I hope, and if I have to do it for playback, it is going to have to happen. But this is the bodega owner down there in Atlanta. She owns the I think it's called the Bodega on Main.
I just want to thank everybody for the overwhelming support since Keith Lee visited, and really since I've been in Atlanta. Thank you so much. Now, this lovely restaurant is no longer my restaurant. Sold it years ago. not make a big deal about this. Like, this is just business, people. People sell and buy businesses all the time. I sold a business. This is what I own now. It's doing amazing. What's the problem? And this another one. This mine. Okay. And another one. All on Main Street. Just so we clear, stop with the false narratives. Stop with the stories, the videos. Why y'all trying to make a conspiracy theory because Keith Lee visited my restaurant? It's simple.
Let's go. I wake up to a little bit of drool on my pillow, feel like it's gonna be a bad day. Yeah, I'm tired of shit, and the coffee ain't hit yet, damn, ain't that great. I don't want...
She had to let y'all know, I've bought restaurants, I've sold restaurants, I've owned restaurants, and I may own this restaurant next door to this one. But I appreciate him coming, I appreciate the support, and, don't be acting crazy. And then we got to
I'm
see
going
this
to explain the power of social media and making sure that you treat people the right way. Walking past the Real Milk and Honey, as you can see, there's nobody out here since Keith Lee came by and reviewed the restaurant over here. You know what I mean? They're a little light right now. There's some folks in there, but they're not as busy as they normally would be, and the patio is empty. You got to get that service together. All right, now, as we walk up the block and walk up to the corner, we get here to the bodega. And as you can see, the bodega is jumping like we in New York. Look at all these people that are in here. These are people that you haven't seen, and we even have his thing up here. So shout out to Keith Lee coming to the ATL. We appreciate you, brother. Thank you.
So that was somebody who lives in Atlanta telling y'all, we appreciate Keith Lee coming here and actually being honest about what the food is hitting on, what the services is hitting on when it comes to these restaurants, because it is not good. And for the ones who got great reviews, that's because food, consistent, food, great. Customer service, consistent customer service, great. No matter what you look like, no matter what your status is, you're giving great across the board. I think at the end of the day, when it comes down to it, all the man does is, he does his business. As in, I'm going to eat this food. I'm going to try it. If you want me to come try it, I'm going to try it. I'm going to give my opinion. I'm very honest about it. And whatever happens, happens. But I'm never going to tell people to be upset with y'all about anything. I'm never going to tell people to come to your restaurant and give bad reviews or do anything crazy. My opinion is my opinion, and that is on that. And if people like my opinion, then, well, we see what happens. And if people don't like my opinion, we also see what happens, because another person had the same, tried the same thing as the Real Milk and Honey, and they're no longer in business. They're no longer in business. Had the same bad customer service as the Real Milk and Honey. And no, they actually had good customer service because Keith was who he was. But Keith didn't give a favorable review on the food. And they made a response video that was just a hot mess. And we don't hear nothing about them to this day. So when it comes down to it, I think Keith Lee did leave the Atlanta food scene in shambles. When it comes to certain restaurants, I think he helped a lot of restaurants that are, not gentrified, mom and pop shops, people starting restaurants because they want to open them in a town, in a city. They want to be able to hire people in the community and pour money back into the community. I think that's great. But I also think what Keith and his reviews just did, because I heard they had to have a town hall meeting in Atlanta about this situation. I think what he's done is put a spotlight on it. Hopefully it changes, and hopefully it gets to a place where people aren't having these types of experiences to the whole Atlanta is coming out on all social media platforms talking about all their bad experiences and this, the crazy rules y'all have set. I think y'all have to get better, or the gentrifiers are going to come in and completely gentrify that whole community. They're going to push y'all out. And it does not help that there are other things going on in y'all community that they are trying to build down there. Cop City is one of those things that's going to cause an issue in itself. It's time for a change. It's time for y'all to really get back to actually training your workers, giving great customer service to everybody across the board, not just one person because you know them, not because they're a celebrity, not because they have influence. Everybody has to get great customer service, consistency with food. You have to train your chefs, you have to train your sous chefs in the way that you want the food cooked, with the correct seasonings, with the correct proportions, correctly cooked at the right temperature. You have to have a great ambiance. You have to, if you have the capital to do so and you have the resources to do so, expand in a way that is going to not only accommodate for all the business you get on a daily basis, but if Atlanta weekends, the people is outside, is going to accommodate everybody that's coming on the weekends and on the regular days, people coming out of town for the holidays. It's time for a change because this is the only city he's had issues with. Hasn't had a problem in Vegas. He lives there. Hasn't had a problem in Detroit. That's his hometown. Didn't have a problem in Chicago. Didn't have a problem in New Orleans. Didn't have a problem in DC. Didn't have a problem in LA. And these are heavily populated cities that probably get a lot of business. And maybe some of them weren't, hitting on, what he thought they would hit on. And maybe some of them were amazing. But it's time for everybody in the food industry, not just Atlanta, to pay attention to this. Pay attention to what's going on. Pay attention to how you should probably run your business to be able to serve the community and the community want to come and give money to you. It's time to pay attention. It's time for a change, and it's time for y'all to step up. Or I foresee y'all being pushed out of y'all spots, and then y'all gonna be complaining about that. But hey, it all comes down to how you want to run your business. And if you want to run it to the ground, that is your business. Okay, my business is my business. Your business is your business. And with that being said, I appreciate all the people who came in here today. I feel like this was a amazing, productive conversation, and maybe we might end up doing a part 2 to it. Who knows? Please check out my shop for merch. Okay, you can find it linked in the description box down below. You can also find it on the community tab, the store, but the link down below shows you the expanded look on the merch. The one that's in the shop store only shows you a few pieces, so please check that out. And I thank everybody for coming up in here. I appreciate it. I'll be back tomorrow for Real Housewives of Potanka because that's a live review and I will be on camera for it. Okay? But with that being said, that was it. That was all. I don't have no more to give y'all. I feel like the conversation was very productive. I feel like this was a good time. We may do a part 2 to it if, Deb does go and try the Milk and Honey restaurant or probably some of these other restaurants, and maybe we could do a part 2 with some more people from Atlanta who were born and raised there, and they can give us an idea on what exactly were the changes that happened to now we are seeing a lot of people say this is this is terrible in the way that they treat people or the food is consistent. Maybe we could do something and have an open panel discussion about that. But I will be back for Potomac tomorrow. I may be back, may put out a little video on my thoughts on what Giselle just recently had to say about, the Candace situation and all that. So we'll take care of that. And then on Monday, we're doing Married to Medicine. Remember to go vote on the community tab for game night. We will be returning on the 15th for game night. I'm not doing it this week coming up. I got a lot of stuff that I need to prepare for. So check it out. And with that being said, I love everybody. I appreciate y'all. Check the description box down below for everything. Follow me on all my social media platforms. And I'll see y'all later. Bye.